Shalom, fam. It's your Moray, Jaden Israel. Welcome to another spicy live stream. Salika Salakia family, if you heard an echo, I don't know if you did or not. I sure heard the echo in my phone. Okay. You know what, family? This is funny. I had the live stream, I have it playing live. I have the video up and I'm live at the same time. I apologize, family, if you heard an echo. Sorry for the craziness. If you noticed it or not, I'd like to welcome you to another spicy live stream. We have a special one tonight, an important topic that we have to discuss. Now, many of us came out of Christianity and we entered into the awakening. We received knowledge of self as Hebrew Israelites, and we left the religion of Christianity. However, you got a lot of Israelites that are still holding on to Christian beliefs. And one of those beliefs is the virgin birth. A lot of Christians are holding on to the virgin birth. A lot of Israelites, that's what I mean to say, family. A lot of Hebrew Israelites are holding on to the virgin birth. And tonight, if you are holding on, please exit this video. Disclaimer: if you want to believe the virgin birth to be true, that away. To the left, leave this live stream now. However, if you desire the truth about the virgin birth, this live stream is for you. Isaiah 7:14 destroys the virgin birth doctrine. Live open panel. I'm going to open up the panel, family. I'm going to give the virgin birth supporters the opportunity to prove me wrong. Before I do that, I got to get some black coffee, no sugar, no cream. This is not bourbon. This is not Henny. Kind of looks like Henny, don't it? I got my white powder. You know how we do it, family. You know how I do it. Stevia extract. They ran out of the liquid. I usually use the liquid one, but I'm using white powder tonight. Y'all know that I'm crazy. Salute to my brother, Double T, the Hebrew. What's good, Aki? Oh, man, you know that's right. And you know that's wrong. Well, is it wrong? Depends on how much you drink, right? It may not be good for your health, but if you drink responsibly, I think it's all right. That's right. That's my brother right there, Double T, the Hebrew. I am on earlier tonight. I usually go live at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, but I want to look out for the East Coasters. I know that y'all are like 3 hours ahead of me. It's 7:34 in East Coast timing. In the East Coast. For me, I'm in Cali, is 4:34. So I want to just be considerate to you guys out in the East Coast. Isaiah 7:14 destroys the virgin birth doctrine. Yeah, Double T, because I know you out there in Dayton, Ohio, and I'm trying to look out. I had the day off today, and this is the perfect opportunity to speak about the virgin birth. If you believe in the virgin birth, I will open up the panel. If you don't want to come on the panel, you can give your rebuttal in the chat. However, let me know what you think about the virgin birth. Do you believe that it's true? Do you believe that the virgin birth is false? Or are you not sure? Let us know what you think. But before we get to the debunk fest, I got some presents for you. That's right. Jaden Claus has got some presents for you. I got some presents for you, family. Okay, we got a bumbaclat. Bye bye, bumbaclat. I see you, bumbaclat. A little cockroach. You cockroach. You bumbaclat. This bumbaclat, I believe he's a reformer Christian. I have no idea. But he just got his ass kicked. We was like, what you say, bumbaclat? Bink, 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 bink. Tied him up, duct taped him, threw his punk ass in the trunk, threw his punk ass in the trunk. We stomped him out, family. Bye bye, bumbaclat. We're not having that. Look, family, you can disagree, but don't get stupid. You would have left in double T? He came off with weird energy off tops. I'm not going to take no disrespect. I don't mind disagreement. I like disagreement. I like to learn. But when you're just a straight up asshole, you got to go. You're adding nothing to the chat. Why should I give you the opportunity? Why should I give you the limelight? Why should I give you the attention when you're not bringing no value to the conversation? He's just bringing smiley emojis. Good riddance. But like when I first came on YouTube, when I first started coming on YouTube, family, man, I allowed the trolls, all of them to come through. But it came to the point where it's like, you know what? I wouldn't tolerate that in person. Why should I tolerate that on the internet? And I'm not saying I'm like some big bad dude or nothing like that, family. What I'm saying is, like, I'm going to defend myself. I'm not a pushover. I'm not going to turn the other cheek. You ain't my brother. You ain't my sister. I ain't going to turn the other cheek. But we were taught in Christianity to turn the other cheek. And they don't even understand that passage. I actually did a sermon on that topic. I actually know what it means. I'm not going to get into it tonight. But here is the topic tonight. Isaiah 7:14 destroys the virgin birth doctrine. Live open panel. Me, Jaden Claus, I got some presents for you. I got some Chronica gifts. That's right, Chronica. If you don't get that, laugh now, figure it out later. Let me go ahead and show you these Chronica gifts. Let me go ahead and show you some presents, family. This is the holiday season. In the words of DJ Drama. I've had people tell me that I look like DJ Drama. Shout out to DJ Drama. Okay, let me go ahead and show you these gifts, family. This is what you want to do. Go right ahead and go below the video. Go below this video right here. Virgin birth debunked.
Make it a
We're monetized. Shout out to YouTube. Thanks to YouTube, we are monetized. Go ahead, family, and click where it says more. Go below the video that you're watching right now. Click on more to receive these Chronica gifts. We have a Hanukkah sale, 20% off, December 26, 2025. Let me show you, family. Let me show you. Trading Mastery Course, 20% off, ends on Kwanzaa. You can get the Trading Mastery Course for 20% off, but you got to do it before Kwanzaa. If you like to earn side income, if you like to keep your 9-to-5, your full-time job, and trade while you're on the job, if you want to trade on your phone while you are allegedly working, you can go ahead and make money by trading. Also, if you like to invest in your language and take it back, the same language that was removed from us, all you got to do is get 20% off on the Hebrew Mastery Bundle. At the end of the course, you will be able to write, speak, and read biblical Hebrew. Now, here are the presents. Here are the Chronica presents from Jaden Claus. Free goodies. Free goodies. 30 words in Paleo Hebrew, Biblical Hebrew, and English. Video tutorial in free PDF download. I created these video tutorials in these free PDF downloads. That way you can watch it. You can say them correctly. You can say the Hebrew words correctly. You can write them correctly. You can speak them correctly, and you can have them right in your phone. Yahusha's prayer in Hebrew and English. The Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and English. Video, PDF. The Ten Commandments in Hebrew and English. Video, PDF. The Shema prayer in Hebrew and English. Video and PDF. The priestly blessing. The priestly blessing in Hebrew and English. The benediction. You guessed it. Video and PDF. Want to start learning Hebrew? All the courses are right here. We have courses for children and adults. Adults, you can learn alongside your children. As a former Sunday school teacher and licensed minister in Christianity, it's my pleasure to teach biblical Hebrew. In the words of Pops from Friday, it's my pleasure. Need Hebrew Israelite apparel? Like this shirt? Look at this shirt. I'm dripping in swag. I'm flexing on y'all. Look at this shirt. Feast of Dedication. Feast of Dedication. Chag. Chanukah. If you want to get this shirt, designed by yours truly, I got you. All you got to do, fam, is click on the link that says Need Hebrew Israelite Apparel. The name of the apparel brand is Kavod. Kavod. Shop at Kavod. Kavod is the Hebrew word for honor, splendor, glory. Kavod, styled in legacy. Shalom. Unlock 20% off your order. For example, you can get these beautiful couples t-shirts and this saucy t-shirt right here that you can rep tomorrow on Christmas in front of your family. You can flex in front of your family. The Feast of Dedication. You can get those shirts and this shirt together for 20% off. Take advantage before it's too late. This is a mistake. This is really 5.0. The customer's not always right. The customer's not always right. On the left are the categories. We have clothing for women, men, and children. We have clothing for regular days and feast days. On the right is a sample, a C's candy sample of the Kavod shop. Let me show you, family, how you can get the 20% off right here. Your 20% off right here. Shout out to Hasadya, 5-star review. Look at this shirt, family. All glory to Yah. He put on fringes on this shirt. And I put on fringes on this shirt as well. Look at this. Let me show y'all. I gotta be careful. I don't want to show y'all my goodies now. Look at that, family. I sewed these fringes on. I normally don't wear fringes. I usually wear zits. To me, they look cooler, and they're optional. Like, what I mean by optional, they're flexible. They're flexible in regards to you can clip them on your shirt, you can clip them right off. You can clip them on your garment, you can clip them right off, and they don't damage your clothes. Once you sew on these babies, they're on there forever. I don't know how to take them off. Unless you know how to take them off. I don't know how. I don't know how to sew them on, but it costs too much money. It costs too much time. It costs too much effort. I like ZCs. You just clip them on, clip them off. And they look better. My opinion. Now, I got some more for you. Shalom, shalom to Elder Byron Willer Zakane. It means elder in Hebrew. Shalom, shalom to you. Thank you for joining us last night. And I'm thankful that you joined us tonight. The topic of tonight's live stream, Isaiah 7:14, destroys the virgin birth doctrine. Live, open debate. So if you want to come on the debate, if you want to come on the panel, whoever would like to come on, step right up when I open up the panel. I got to get some more sips of my Henny. Okay, black coffee. No sugar, no cream. However, I got some stevia extract. It's healthy, by the way. It's organic. Okay, now let's go back to the announcements. I'm going to go ahead and close out these announcements. I'm allowing our family to come in because I came on earlier. I said I was going to come on 5:30. I changed my mind. I put up a post today. I tried to let you guys know in advance today that I was going live at 4:30. But yesterday I did say 5:30. But I did post the post today that I was going live at 4:30. Appreciate it, Zakane Byron. Oh, glory. Yes, I like speaking to my family. I like speaking to people that are not Hebrew Israelites as well. I like having conversations. I love to learn. I'm here to grow, family. We don't all have to agree on everything, but at least we can speak respectfully. Now, if you like to have advanced biblical teachings, if you like to see behind the scenes footage, if you like to have advanced biblical tools, and if you want to laugh at my mistakes, you want to laugh at my bloopers, if y'all want to see me mess up, go ahead and subscribe to the Patreon. No obligation. You can subscribe and unsubscribe anytime. If you like to support the ministry, my wife and I, we appreciate it. My wife and I, we are stock market investors, and we appreciate your support. And if you like to, family, you can do so through Cash App, PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, YouTube, Super Chat. We are monetized. We appreciate your money, but we don't need your money. Isaiah 7:14 destroys the virgin birth doctrine. Live, open panel. So I'm going to go ahead and get to it right now, family. Let me bring up this article. This article is not from Hebrew Israelite Fly-By-Night. There are a lot of fly-by-night Hebrew Israelite sources, and I'm not using one tonight. I am using a scholastic article. You know how I do. I am choosy. I am picky when it comes to sourcing up. My sources ain't random. Isaiah 7:14. We're going to get into it, family. Virgin birth debunked. I need some more stevia on this. Like I said, if you want to hold on to the virgin birth, if you don't want to take real information, you don't got to be here. I am not forcing you to be here. I'll let y'all know already. If you are sensitive to facts, keep it moving. Get your ass out of here. To say that no one even cares, that is a fallacy. Coco Jumbo, that is a fallacy. For you to say that nobody cares, that's a fallacy. Do not misrepresent us. I've never seen you before. So if you like to go on here and defend your Jesus and your Christmas, you have every right to do so. But don't be a bumaclot. What the title is, Isaiah 7:14, destroys the virgin birth doctrine. You're talking about a sensitive topic. My heart goes out to those who have been murdered over religion. Coco Jumbo. Interesting name. You could have phrased what you said differently. You could have used wisdom, but you didn't. You could have used wisdom, but you didn't. You could have seasoned your words with salt. You could have seasoned your words with stevia extract, but you didn't. Be respectful. You can stand on whatever you believe in. I don't know if you believe in Christianity. It seems like that's what's implied, but we're not Muslim. We are Israelites. We also call ourselves Hebrew Israelites. I prefer to call myself an Israelite. But yes, we're Hebrew Israelites. But I'd rather say Israelite. Saying Hebrew Israelite, it takes too long. It sounds clunky. It sounds confusing. That term is not in the Bible. When somebody comes up and asks you, so what's your nationality? What's your faith? You mean to tell me you're going to say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. You notice that initial pause, that initial stutter? It takes too long to say. It doesn't roll off the tongue. I prefer to say Israelite. So I don't know what your angle is, but I'm letting you know. Don't let this kippah confuse you. Just because I'm wearing a kippah, it doesn't mean that I'm a Muslim. And I got respect and love for all nationalities and those in different religions, because our people are in both those religions. And a lot of our people in America have Nigerian roots. And speaking about Nigeria, the Igbo are Israelites. As a mulatto, being mixed, being light-skinned, I got love for everybody. In the words of Bob Marley, one love. But don't cross me or you'll get crossed. All right. Now that we put Coco Jumbo in their place, let's continue. No more Mr. Nice Jaden. Isaiah 7:14 destroys the virgin birth doctrine. Live, open debates. I have it up already. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I don't have my screen shared, but I do have my source ready to go. And family, I prefer you stay on topic. If you want to get off topic, just be careful with it. Be tactful with it. Don't create a straw man. Don't misrepresent us. Don't assume, because when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Don't do that. If you do, we're going to slap you. We're going to slap your punk ass. This source is from Jews for Judaism. Isaiah 7:14. A virgin birth? Now check it. I'm using this article. Why? Because they did a fantastic job. I don't subscribe to Judaism. I'm an Israelite. However, I actually agree with a lot. I actually agree a lot with Judaism. I actually have a lot in common with Judaism, but I don't subscribe. I don't call myself a follower or a believer in Judaism. I don't believe that the Talmud is authoritative over Israelites. However, I do read the Talmud from time to time, and I do apply the Talmud from time to time. The Talmud actually has gems in it, but I look at the Talmud like how I look at the New Testament. Tread lightly, because there's some things in there that probably shouldn't be in there. However, there's gems in the New Testament. There's gems in the Talmud. However, I am not bound by the Talmud. It's not authoritative over me, but I do follow some things because there's a lot of deep, powerful insights in the Talmud. And I don't follow the customs in Judaism. I don't follow the halakha. The halakha is like how you walk out the Torah, how you walk it out. I don't subscribe to the halakha of mainstream Judaism, but I agree a whole lot with Judaism. Check it. Judaism, the Jewish people actually got a lot of things right. That's right. And I'll even say this. Some of the Jewish people are actually more Israelite in faith than Hebrew Israelites. Why do I say that? Because a lot of Hebrew Israelites are Christians. They're holding on to Christian beliefs. And one of the ideas that they're desperately holding on to and won't let go is the virgin birth. The Jewish people don't believe in no virgin birth, but many Hebrew Israelites, excuse me, Hebrew Israelites, sound like a damn horse. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Woo! Giddy up, horsey. Hold on. Whoosh. The hell? He's a what? I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Okay, Mr. Ed. I agree a lot with Judaism. I'd rather speak Yiddish than Lashwan Kodash. I'll tell you that. And I don't speak Yiddish. I don't speak modern Hebrew. I don't tap into modern Hebrew. I tap into biblical Hebrew. Biblical Hebrew is different from modern Hebrew. Biblical Hebrew is different from Yiddish. However, a lot of these camps, they don't know the difference. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm glad you adjusted yourself, Coco. I'm glad you adjusted yourself. Thank you for coming correct, because I don't play. Don't take my light skin for weakness now. Don't. Come respectful. Don't misrepresent us. I don't play. I'm from the Bay. Okay, let's go. Jews for Judaism. Isaiah 7:14. A virgin birth? What? Here we go. Many Christians and professional missionaries like to quote the following verse as a proof text. Behold, the Lord himself will give you a sign. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and she shall call his name Emmanuel. Isaiah 7:14. Are there differences? Christianity versus Judaism. Let's find out. They claim that this passage prophesies the miraculous virgin birth of the Messiah, and that Jesus is the only one who could have fulfilled it. They also point out that the name Emmanuel literally means God is with us, and use this as a proof of the divine nature of this individual. Genealogy of Jesus. The New Testament book of Matthew recounts the genealogy of Jesus, starting from Abraham and ending with Joseph, the husband of Mary. It claims in Matthew chapter 1, verses 18 through 25, that when they were betrothed and have not yet consummated their marriage, Joseph discovered that Mary was with child and still a virgin. Not wanting to disgrace her, he planned to put her away secretly. Only afterwards does the gospel claim that an angel comes and informs Joseph that this event is the fulfillment of the prophecy of Isaiah. Hebrew highlighter. Y'all paying attention? Y'all following? Let's go. Before I get some more stevia extract. You read Hebrew Matthew? Hebrew Matthew? Double T? I know you mentioned that before. I've heard you mention that before. Let's get it. The entire story is extremely puzzling, and a major question begs to be answered. Is the prophecy in Isaiah 7:14 is so clear, if it's so clear and fundamental to the coming of the Messiah, why was Joseph, a descendant of King David, totally oblivious to it? Why didn't he know about it? Why am I yelling? Why was Joseph, a descendant of King David, Hamelech, totally oblivious to it? Why was he not aware of it? Upon discovering that his virgin wife was with child, he should have jumped for joy that this may be the precursor to the arrival of the Messiah. Instead, he suspects her of infidelity. Why was he not excited that Mary was pregnant? I repeat, why was Joseph not excited when his wife, who was betrothed, when they were betrothed, why was Joseph not excited? Why was he not jumping for joy when Mary was pregnant with the Messiah, carrying the Messiah? Why was he not jumping for joy that this may be the precursor to the arrival of the Messiah? Instead, he pissed off. Instead, he thinks Mary is pulling a TLC. He thinks Mary is creeping. Right on, Double T. I love the edification. If you'd like to come on the panel momentarily and bring that out and bring some of that, we can definitely have that on. That adds more flavor. That adds more recipes to the gumbo. But yeah, you're bringing it out. We need to know this. The answer is simply, this passage in Isaiah is not speaking about the Messiah or a virgin birth. Do y'all see that? I'm going to go ahead and repeat it again. I like to take my time. I like to go slow. The answer is simple. The answer is simply, this passage in Isaiah is not speaking about the Messiah or a virgin birth. I repeat, Isaiah 7:14 is not speaking about the Messiah or a virgin birth. Let's begin by examining the context of the 7th chapter of Isaiah. In the same way that America and Korea were divided into North and South during their civil wars, at this point in Yehudi history, the Yehudi nation was divided into two kingdoms, known as the Southern Kingdom of Judea and the Northern Kingdom of Israel. Each kingdom has its own capital, king, and enemies. The Southern Kingdom of Judea has its capital in Jerusalem and was ruled by King Ahaz. Hebrew highlighter. The Northern Kingdom of Israel had its capital in Samaria and was ruled by King Pekah. Hebrew highlighter. To the north of both these kingdoms was a third non-Yehudi ruler, King Rezin of Aram, Syria, whose capital was Damascus. God dispatched the prophet Isaiah and one of his sons to warn King Ahaz that the northern kingdom had formed an alliance with this King Rezin. They had joined forces to wage war against Jerusalem. Oh, Isaiah tells King Ahaz in verse 4 that he should not be afraid because God will be with him and the invasion will fail. Additionally, within 65 years, the northern kingdom would cease to exist and its 10 tribes would be led into exile by Assyria. This is where the idea of 10 lost tribes originates. Although Ahaz was an evil king, God will continue to protect Jerusalem in the merits of his righteous predecessors. When Ahaz ignores Isaiah's warning, the prophet tells him to request a sign from God. After Ahaz refuses this offer, Isaiah informs him that God will give him a sign despite his stubbornness. He tells King Ahaz that Yahuwah himself will give you a sign. Behold, listen fam, check it. Behold, the Alma, Ha'alma, 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 in the Hebrew highlighter, Ha'alma, which means, we're going to get into that meaning. Hold on to that. Hold on to this phrase. Behold, the Alma shall conceive and give birth to a son, and she shall call his name Emmanuel. Isaiah 7:14. This is not speaking about the Messiah. This is not speaking about a virgin birth. I repeat, in the blue, well, it's probably not blue on screen for y'all, but it's blue to me. But the portion that's in the Hebrew highlighter, this is not speaking about the Messiah or a virgin birth. Isaiah 7:14 is not speaking about the Messiah or a virgin birth. Good point. Good point. Double T the Hebrew. You say some brews say it's dual prophecy because some brews are Christians. That's a repeater. That's a what, Jaden? I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that again. You said some brews say it's a dual prophecy. Those same brews, they may be Christians. And they don't even know it. They think they're in the awakening. But they're oblivious to the meaning of Isaiah 7:14. They are as oblivious as Joseph was when Mary was pregnant. A lot of these brews sound like Christians. Back to the debunk fest. Mistranslation. Here we go. The word Alma has been mistranslated by most Christians as virgin. You know what time it is. Hebrew highlighter time. Hebrew freaking highlighter. The word Alma has been mistranslated by most Christians as virgin. Why? Because they don't look into Hebrew. They look into English. They just want to be right. They want to use their own understanding to prove that this Jesus was born of a virgin birth. They ignore context. They ignore language. The word Alma has been mistranslated by most Christians as virgin. In truth, this word means young woman. I hope y'all taking notes, taking mental notes, taking screenshots. writing this down. Additionally, the definite article ha means the and indicates that the prophet is speaking about a specific woman who he can point to. That is true. That is facts. Interestingly, when Matthew quotes this passage, he not only mistranslates young woman as virgin, but to deflect the reference from a specific woman standing before Isaiah, he intentionally mistranslates the young woman as a virgin to prove that Alma does in fact mean a virgin. Missionaries fallaciously assert that this word is used 7 times in the Bible and that it always refers to a woman who is a virgin. First, those who translate Isaiah 7:14 as virgin inconsistently translate the other 6 places as maiden or young woman, revealing their intentional mistranslation. The word Alma should always be translated as a young woman. This word alone does not teach us about a repeat family. This word alone does not teach us anything about her sexual status. It simply informs us that she is young. This is also true of the masculine form of the word Alma, which is the Hebrew word alim, which means a young man, as in the following examples. Whose son is this young man? Ha'alim. Samuel 17:56. 1 Samuel 17:56. If I say thus to the young man. 1 Samuel 20:22. Now, it says in this passage, but to deflect the reference from a specific woman, because remember, ha means the. Ha means the. Hebrew highlighter. This is free, by the way. This is free game. This means the. Ha means the. It's a definite article. You're speaking about a specific woman. Interesting. When Matthew quotes this passage, he not only mistranslates young woman as a virgin, but to deflect the reference from a specific woman standing before Isaiah, he intentionally mistranslates the young woman as a virgin. Now, this passage right here, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight the whole sentence. We're gonna double check this. Why? Even though I'm using this source to prove the virgin birth is false, we still have to double check this article. So that's what we're going to do right now, family. We're going to go to Blue Letter Bible. You know me, fam. I'm objective. I agree a lot with Judaism, but I'm not a part of the religion. But I agree a lot with them. When it comes to foundational beliefs, I got a lot in common. That's why for me, it's hard to debate or even want to have a debate with somebody in Judaism, because we agree a lot on a lot of things. So let's go ahead and double check that. We double checking the source. Even though I'm using the source to debunk the virgin birth, I still got to double check the source. I'm not just going to take his word for it. So let's check it out, family. In this article, it says, well, let's go ahead and read this quote again, family. It says right here in the highlighter, interestingly, when Matthew quotes this passage, he not only mistranslates young woman as virgin, but to deflect the reference from a specific woman standing before Isaiah, he intentionally mistranslates the young woman as a virgin without the definite article, without the word the. Let's double check that. Let's see if that's true. We double checking the source. The genealogy of Yahusha HaMashiach is the context. Let me go ahead and scroll down, family. Scroll down off screen. I don't want to hurt your eyes. Y'all know me. Y'all know that I'm in denial. Y'all know that I can't read. I can read just fine. It's just sometimes y'all see me squinting and suffering like I'm looking directly at an onion. Y'all can see me, my eyes can be watering. I don't need glasses, I think. All right, family. So let's get to the verse. It says in the KJV, hold on to that. It's KJV. In verse 23, behold, a virgin shall be with child and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us. It says, behold, a virgin. It sounds like this article is correct. Right here. It says, Matthew intentionally mistranslates the young woman as a virgin. When we look at the King James version, my bad, family, my bad. When we look at the King James version, okay, the King James. When we look at the King James version, it translates as a virgin. So the article sounds correct. He intentionally mistranslates the young woman as a virgin. In the KJV, Matthew 1:23, behold, a virgin. That's correct. There is no definite article. There is no word the. The word the is not in the purple Hebrew highlighter, according to the King James. However, when we look deeper, because that's how we study. This is how brews study. When we go to tools, when we go to Bibles, let's go to the NKJV. It says, behold, the virgin. So the article is actually wrong, according to the NKJV. The NLT says, look, the virgin. NIV, the virgin. ESV, behold, the virgin. Let's go even deeper. Let's go to the Greek. Let's go to the interlinear. It says, idou ha parthenos. Idou ha parthenas. Idou ha parthenas. Behold, the virgin. The word the is right here. Definite article. Definite article. Definite article. As you guys can see on the right side. So technically this article right here, this highlighted phrase on this article is true for the King James, but to keep it 100, this highlighted section is false. I'm telling you, family, I'm objective. Just because I'm using the source to disprove the virgin birth doesn't mean I'm not going to double check the actual source that I'm using. This highlighted phrase from Jews for Judaism is incorrect. It should translate as the. It's the. It should be the. It's incorrect in regards to the definite article. This part right here where it says a, no, it should be the. Because in Greek, it says, in the Greek, Koine Greek, the cognac Greek. I'm here all day. It says, Idu, behold. Y'all can see on the right side, it says, behold. Definite article right here. Ha. Hey, Salika, hey. Idu is behold. Hey is definite article. Parthenos. Behold. The. This should be the. It's the. It's not a. Now, right here, this word virgin, we're going to get deeper and see if this is really virgin. Does this translate as virgin? Hold on to that. According to the Greek, it says, Idu, he, parthenos. Idu, behold, definite article, the, ha. Let's do that again. Hidu. Idu means behold. He means the, which is a definite article. It's not a, it's the. And parthenos, they say it's virgin. We're going to double check this. Now, let's go back. Hopefully you guys are following. Hopefully I'm not speaking over nobody's head. You know me, I like to speak at a third grade level. I like to teach at a third grade level. I like to make complex ideas easy to understand. Why? So I can get it. All right, let's go back. Now that we double checked the article, let's continue. In both cases, the word alim only teaches that this man is young. It gives no indication of his sexual status, which by men is indiscernible. The Hebrew Bible has a completely different word for virgin. The specific Hebrew word is betula. 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 The specific Hebrew word for virgin is not alma. It's not alim. It's betula. Hebrew freaking highlighter. Hebrew freaking highlighter. Betula. Betula, damn it. Okay, let's go. This word, let me keep this highlighted. We're going to keep this Hebrew highlighted. Bruce, you know how we do. We always highlighting something. Bible filled with highlighted verses. More highlighted than not highlighted. This word has no masculine form and indicates the physical, sexual status of a woman. Ooh, I'm highlighting that as well. I repeat. This word, betula, this word has no masculine form and indicates the physical, sexual status of a woman. It is always translated as virgin. For example, the girl was very beautiful, a virgin, betula, and no man had any relations with her. Genesis 24:16. I took the woman, but when I came near her, I did not find her a virgin. Betula, virgin. Deuteronomy 22:14. Deuteronomy 22:14. And they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh 400 young virgins that had known no man. Judges 21:12. It doesn't have the word. They didn't put the word Betula next to it. My guess, this is Betulot. Let me go ahead and double check that. Betulot. Judges 21:12. Let's go there. Judges 21:12. My guess, this is Betulot. It's actually Betula. 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 Let me go ahead and show you. In English, I was guessing Betulot just because it's plural. Betulot would be plural, generally speaking. But when you actually look at the text, it actually reads singular. Let me go ahead and show you. Right here in the yellow Hebrew highlighter. Betula, Betula, Betula. We'll show the vowel points. Betula, 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 Betula. It's the same word, Betula, as this word. Betula. Same word. So the article, they didn't put that in there, I guess, to not be redundant. That's my guess. Let's continue. These verses show us that the word Betula means a virgin who has not had physical relations with a man, regardless of her age. She could be 100 years old or 18 years old. If Isaiah had wanted to tell us the physical status of the woman, he would have used the specific word, you guessed it, Betula, a word he was familiar with and uses in his writings. Really? He did? That's right. He did. See Isaiah 47:1. We're going to double check that. But before we do that, keep this in mind, fam. If Isaiah wanted to tell us the physical status of the woman, he would have used the specific word Betula, which always means virgin. It always means virgin, I'll tell you. A word he was familiar with and uses in his writings. See Isaiah 47:1. Let's do that. Let's see Isaiah 47:1. Let's see if it's the same word. Right here. Let's see if it's the same word, fam. Hey, it is the same word. Betula, Betulat, Betulat, which is the same word. It's just in construct form. It's the same word. It's in construct form, but it's the same word. As you can see on the right side, it's inflected as Betulat, which means it's in construct form. However, the root, you guessed it, Betula, Betula, Betula. And what does it mean? What's the translation? Virgin. 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 I'm doing my Dr. Umar Johnson. He likes to repeat himself a lot. I'll be feeling like I'm getting hypnotized. Virgin. Betula means virgin. Isaiah was aware of the word Betula, which means, you guessed it, virgin. And family, here's a cheat sheet. Here's a cheat sheet. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. The word, you just highlight over the English word, and it will appear in the yellow Hebrew highlighter right here. Virgin, Betulat. Or you can just scroll down. Here's the cheat sheet. The left side is the English. The right side is the Hebrew. O virgin translates as Betulat. Betulat, which is in construct form of the root Betula. What does Betula mean? I'm asking you, family, what does Betula mean? What does Betula mean? That's right. Virgin. What does Alma mean? Alma. Alma, which is the word that's used in Isaiah 7:14. What does Alma mean? That's right. Young woman. The specific word for virgin in Hebrew is Betula. Language matters. Betula, virgin. Back to the article. A word he was familiar with and uses in his writings. See Isaiah 47:1. Missionary are incorrect. It says missionary. Missionary are incorrect when they claim that whenever the word Alma is used, it is referring to a young woman who is also a virgin. Here are some examples where it cannot mean a virgin. There are 60 queens and 80 concubines and young women, almot, without number. My dove, my undefiled, is but one. She is the only one of her mother. She is the only one of her mother. She is the choice of her that bore her. She is the choice of her that bore her. Song of Songs, chapter 6, verses 8 through 9. There are three things which are too wonderful for me. Yes, for which I know not. The way of the eagle in the air, the way of a serpent on a rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a young woman, Alma. Likewise, the way of an adulterous woman. She eats, she wipes her mouth and says, I have done nothing wrong. Proverbs 30, 18 through 20. The common characteristic, the way, is that they all leave no trace, just like an adulterous woman who claims she has done nothing wrong. And there is no trace, as you guys can see, what's highlighted, and there is no trace of her acts. There is no trace of this adulterous woman of her acts. So too, the eagle leaves no trace in the air. A snake leaves no trace on a rock. A ship leaves no trace in the midst of the sea. So too, the young woman Alma, with a man, leaves no sign, which is not the case of a virgin who leaves a sign. Let me repeat that. That's a repeater. That's a what, Jaden? It's a repeater. So too, the young woman, Alma, with a man, leaves no sign, which is not the case of a virgin who leaves a sign of blood. She leaves a sign of blood. A virgin leaves a sign of blood. What's it called? The token of her virginity. The sign of her blood. A virgin who leaves a sign of blood, called the token of her virginity. Deuteronomy 21, 15 through 19. That's more where that came from. We ain't done yet. Let's get it. We also see this in the verse. Bring out the evidence of the girl's virginity. Bring out the evidence of the girl's virginity. Deuteronomy 22, 15. Missionaries attempt to prove that Alma means a virgin by referring to an ancient Greek translation of the Bible called the Septuagint. Hebrew highlighter. Watch the games they playing. What's the game they playing? Missionaries attempt to prove that Alma means a virgin by referring to an ancient Greek translation, an ancient Greek translation of the Bible called the Septuagint. The Septuagint, which was carried out by 70 rabbis approximately 165 years before Jesus. They claim that in Isaiah 7:14, the word Alma is translated as the Greek parthenos, which they claim means virgin. See the games they playing. Here's another game they playing. Look at the game they're trying to run on us. Fam. Look at the game they're trying to run on us. They go them Christians lying to us again. What it say? They claim that in Isaiah 7:14, the word Alma is translated as the Greek parthenos, which they claim means virgin. Problems with this claim. Oh, we got some problems. We've been lied to before by Christianity. They are fantastic. They are hunky-dory when it comes to lying to our people. I just want to say hunky-dory. What does hunky-dory mean? I'm saying the word, I don't even know what it means. Hey, babe, what's hunky-dory mean? I know I look like I know what that means. What's hunky-dory mean, family? What's hunky-dory mean? That means good, right? Jane, stop pretending. You know what that means. Shut your light-skinned ass up. You know what that means. Okay, family. Let's go back. I'm just trying to make you laugh because I know a lot of y'all right now is mad at your boy. I know some of y'all is steaming. Y'all already left the chat. Y'all can't take it. You can't take the heat in the kitchen, and that's okay. You don't got to. There's a lot. That's right. That's right, Elder Byron. But this is how we study. We don't broad brush. No. We don't microwave. We do a slow, deep, thorough cooking. We do a deep roast. And that's what we're doing right now. We're roasting these Christian ideas. We marinate and we season and we cook to get to the facts. We do our thorough investigation. This information, it may be a lot to some people, but it's important. We got to do the fact checks. We got to see. We got to unravel. We got to debunk the lies from Christianity. This article is almost done. And down the stretch we come. Problems with this claim. Oh, we got some problems now. We got some problems, Elder Byron. You said make sure you use Creole seasoning. I'm highlighting that because I'm getting hungry. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Can you pass me the Creole seasoning? Let me show Elder Byron. I know what it be. I know what it's like. Let me go ahead. You know, we got Creole in our family. Both my mom, look, both of our families. Look at this. I don't know what that guy's name is. It's a really weird name, interesting name. Don't be disrespectful. I'm warning you right now. Your name is Camp. What the hell does his name say? I don't know what the hell. I'm just going to call him Campo. Hey, Campo, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth or I'll close it for you. This right here, Elder Byron, this for you. Look, there go Moray Jaden right there. Look at Jaden. Look, he's light skinned. Creole. Okay. Watch it. Watch your questioning. Watch your tone. Watch your undertone. I don't play that. I don't take disrespect. Watch your tone. Again, watch it. You're skating on thin ice. Don't make me backhand you now. Don't make me give you the backhand. I'll do it. Keep it up. Keep testing me. You said my daddy was my daddy was his gardener and mom was their cook. Elder Byron, you make me hungry. Right here. Oh, we know about seasoning. You know how we do it. I can't wait to go to New Orleans. All right, fam, let's go ahead and finish up this article. Let's continue to educate Campo. Let's go. Let's go, family. Problems with this claim. First, the Septuagint also translates the Hebrew word na'ara, maiden, in Genesis 34:3 as parthenos. The Septuagint also translates the Hebrew word na'ara, maiden, in Genesis 34:3 as parthenos. Shechem took her and lay with her by force, and his soul was drawn to her, and he loved the maiden. Ha-na'ara, and he spoke to the heart of the maiden. Ha-na'ara. Genesis 34:2-3. In context, this passage is speaking about Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, after she was raped by a non-Yehudi known as Shechem. Obviously, she was not a virgin, and we cannot rely on the Septuagint's inaccurate translation. Guess what? The Septuagint has mistakes. Remember, the Septuagint, we definitely can use as a source to prove scriptures. However, to be objective, it has mistakes. Secondly, According to both Yehudi and Greek translations, see Babylonian Talmud Megillah, Babylonian Talmud Megillah 9:8, and Aristios' letter to King Ptolemy. The Septuagint translation attributed to the 70 rabbis was exclusively the first. Let me repeat that again, family. Was exclusively the 5 books of Moses. The Septuagint translation attributed to the 70 elders, let me highlight that, was exclusively the 5 books of Moses. The Chumash, Torah, the first 5 books, and did not include the prophets and the holy writings. The prophets in Hebrew is Nevi'im, Nevi'im, Nevi'im. And the writings is Ketuvim, Ketuvim, Ketuvim. Thereby distancing itself from any Greek translation of Isaiah. Hold on to this fact. The Septuagint translation attributed to the 70 rabbis was exclusively the 5 books of Moses and did not include the prophets and the holy writings, thereby distancing itself from any Greek translation of Isaiah. That's important. Let's go. Additionally, there are no original copies of the Septuagint. Today's versions are taken from 2nd and 3rd century manuscripts that had been corrupted by non-Yehudi writers. This is why the introduction in the Zondervan Septuagint points out that the Pentateuch, which refers to the five Pentateuch, the 5 books of Moses, the Pentateuch, is considered to be the best executed, while the book of Isaiah appears to be the worst. Woo! It's already hot in here. It's boiling hot. Numerous Christian translations, like the New Revised Standard Version, recognize this mistake and correctly translate Alma as the young woman. Whether the woman mentioned by Isaiah is a virgin is completely irrelevant. How would anyone know without doing a physical examine? And even then, this is not absolute proof. This ain't definitive proof. Let's go ahead and double check this. The New Revised Standard Version. Let's look into this, family. It says this version recognizes this mistake and correctly translate Alma as the young woman. Let's see if that's the case. Let's get into it. Isaiah 7:14. Hallelujah. Let's click on tools. Before we go on tools, let's go ahead and read the verse. Therefore, Yahuwah himself shall give you a sign. Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Let's go to tools, Bibles. Let's go to the New Revised Standard Version, the RSV, Revised Standard Version, right here, RSV. It says, therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, a young woman, that's right, shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Y'all see that? The Revised Standard Version got it right. The New Revised Standard Version recognized this mistake and correctly translate Alma as the young woman. Examining the Hebrew more closely, we note that the Hebrew verbs for conceived, which is hara, and will give birth, yoledetz, 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 are used throughout scriptures to refer to natural conceptions and birth, as in, a man knew his wife, and she conceived tahard, which is the same root, and bore talid, which is the same root. Tahard is the same root as hara, and talid is the same root as yoledetz. A man knew his wife, and she conceived tahard and bore talid and bore Cain. Genesis 4:1. These are the same verbs. These are the same verbs. These are the same verbs used in Isaiah 7:14 and refer to a natural birth. The sign mentioned in Isaiah 7:14 has nothing, and I repeat, for those who came in late, you know I still love you, but you're on CPT. I repeat, it has nothing to do with a miraculous birth. The sign mentioned in Isaiah 7:14 has nothing to do with a miraculous birth. This is a natural birth. In contrast, I said contrast. Look, I see y'all paying attention. Nah, I'll be checking up on you. In context, Isaiah is speaking about a specific young woman who will become pregnant during the lifetime of Isaiah and King Ahaz. That is a curse word in the Hebrew Israelite awakening. And I'm a Hebrew Israelite saying this. What's the curse word? Context. Or I should say cont for short. I'll be here all day. The jokes are for me. I don't care if y'all laugh or not. They're for me. Because this is funny. It's funny that y'all still holding on to this virgin birth. Y'all still holding on to this point. Oh man, this is hilarious. In context, there we go. In context, Isaiah is speaking about a specific young woman who will become pregnant during the lifetime of Isaiah and King Ahaz. A miraculous virgin birth that supposedly, allegedly took place over 560 years later. 560 years later would be irrelevant to Ahaz. He wouldn't even give a damn about that. Why should he? Who required a sign prior to an imminent military invasion. He's worried about this invasion. He ain't worried about no virgin birth. Get the hell out of here. If he's still holding on to this point, I'm going to pray for you. We're still not done. And down the stretch, we're coming. In context. Oh, I read that already. No, I didn't read this already. I'm going to go ahead and read that again. A miraculous virgin birth that supposedly took place over 560 years later would be irrelevant to Ahaz, who required a sign prior to an imminent military invasion. Christians attempt to avoid this problem. Oh, they're good at avoiding problems. Hey, babe, I don't want to avoid this problem. I want some more coffee. Can you give me a round of coffee, please? Because this is a problem for me. I need some more coffee. I need to turn up. Maybe I need to turn up even more. Y'all like, nah, Jay, you need to switch to decaf, bro. Because you're a yapper, bro. God Logic's right about you. He's right about your ass. He was a yapper, bro. Jaden, shut your yapper, bro. Bro, you're a yapper. Shut your yapper, bro. Shut my yapper. Okay. While I'm yapping, let's continue to debunk Christianity's virgin birth. It says right here, Christians attempt to avoid this problem by claiming that this is a double level prophecy that happens both during the time of Ahaz, and again in the time of Jesus. This was mentioned in the chat. Shout out to Double T, the Hebrew. You mentioned that there are Hebrew Israelites that are holding on to this dual prophecy. Why? Because they're holding on to Christianity. They're 6 feet tall. They're in a 3-foot pool, and they still have a life jacket on. What the hell? Take off the life jacket. Bro, stand up. Stand up. This is not dual level prophecy. If Christians want to believe that the word Alma means a virgin and simultaneously claim a double level prophecy, they would have to believe that a virgin birth took place in the time of Ahaz. Ha! Have you considered that concept? They would have to believe that a virgin birth took place in the time of Ahaz. However, this never occurred and would also contradict the claim that Jesus' virgin birth is unique. It would be unique because it happened already. It happened allegedly during the time of King Ahaz. Total Rabah. Thank you, bye. Thank you, baby. Ani Ohev Voltak. Now, and that means I love you, by the way. I'm saying I love you to my wife. Ani Ohev Otak. Okay. That one's free. The next one I will charge. If you want more, go below the description. Sign up to the Hebrew courses. Take back your language. Or limit yourself like Christians. Limit yourself like Hebrew Israelites to Lashwan Kodash. You have the freedom to sound like a dumbass. But if you want to take back your language, go below the video. It's my honor and privilege to teach biblical Hebrew the right way. The sign mentioned in verse 14 to Ahaz is that the two kings who threatened King Ahaz would be destroyed quickly. This sign is described in the next verse. Family, it's in the next verse. Before the child knows enough to refuse evil and choose good, the land whose two kings you dread will be forsaken. Isaiah 7:15. It says, before the child knows enough to refuse evil and choose good. So if this is referring to a dual prophecy, if this is referring to the alleged virgin birth of Jesus, you mean to tell me that Jesus at one point He didn't know the difference between evil and good. He didn't know how to resist. He did not know how to refuse. He did not know how to refuse evil and choose good. Is that what you're saying, Christian? Is that what you're saying? Hebrew Israelite. Sound like a damn horse. Hebrew Israelite. The hell is that? Babe, what the hell is a Hebrew Israelite? Sometimes, boy, I wish I wasn't in the awakening. I want to say what I really want to say. Y'all lucky I'm on the righteous path. Hebrew Israelites, they're still holding on to this dual prophecy virgin birth. You mean to tell me that your black Jesus, because you just whitewashed him, you guys still believe in Jesus. You just believe in that Jesus that's on the Comedy Central, black Jesus. You just blackwashed him. You mean to tell me at one point, black Jesus did not know how to refuse evil and choose good? Jesus was a backslider? He was born a sinner? Jesus screwed up? Black Jesus screwed up? It's just questions. Y'all need to let go of that Christianity. Christianity is a hell of a jug. Goodness gracious. I'm going to read that again. Before the child, let me start right here. The sign mentioned in verse 14 to Ahaz is that the two kings who threatened King Ahaz would be destroyed quickly. That's the sign. Not no damn virgin birth. Not no dual prophecy garbage. This sign is described in the next verse. Before black Jesus. Okay. Before white Jesus. Okay. Before Puerto Rican Jesus. Okay. Before Jesus, before Korean Jesus. Whatever Jesus you want to insert. Before the child knows enough to refuse evil and choose good, the land whose two kings you dread will be forsaken. Isaiah 7:15. All you got to do is read the next verse. That's all you got to do. Just read on, Christian. Just read on. Hebrew Israelite. Read on, Mr. Ed. Hebrew Israelite. It is fulfilled in the next chapter, you dumbass. With the birth of a child to the prophet Isaiah. He, Isaiah, approached the prophetess and she conceived. There we go again. Conceived. One, tahard, which comes from the root, hara, and bore. Number two, bore, talid, which comes from the root, yalad. A son, and God said to me, name the child Mahir Shalal Hashbaz. That sounds Muslim, don't it? You should just throw Shabazz at the end. Yeah, Shabazz. Right? That sound fire, right? It sounds super deep, right? You sound woke. Look at his name. Name the child Mahir Shalal Hashbaz. Shabazz. And throw Zulu at the end. Shabazz Zulu. Shakur. Oh, that's a good one right there. Shakur. Yeah. Shakur means black. Yeah, we go. That's a good one. That's a good one, babe. Mahir Shalal Hashbaz. Shabazz Shakur, which means the spoil seeds, the prey hastens. Hold on to that. This is fun. I'm having a blast right now. This coffee tastes really good right now. It tastes better than before. It's probably the best coffee I've ever had. It's because you made it. That's right, man. It's because you made it. And also because I get to debunk the virgin birth. Woo! White Jesus can get it, and black Jesus can get it. All these Jesuses can get it. By the way, Yeshua HaMashiach, Yeshua Bar Yosef, Yahusha HaMashiach, he existed. Yes. I'm not disrespecting Yahusha HaMashiach. I'm disrespecting this egregore that Christians and Israelites believe to be true. They believe it so hard that it's true in their mind. The deception is that real. The hypnotism from Christianity have them confused, bewildered. In the words of El Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, these Christians and Hebrew Israelites are bamboozled, hoodwinked, run amucked. Okay. They didn't land on white Jesus. White Jesus landed on them. Okay, pause. Oh, you freaking New Yorkers. Okay, guys are so like ill-minded. Things like pause. Like, no pause, bro. No pause, bro. Okay, here we go. Man, I'm having a blast right now. Where was I? This part. It is fulfilled in the next chapter when the birth of a child to the prophet Isaiah. He, Isaiah, approaches the prophetess, and she conceived Sahar and bore Taled, a son, and God said to me, name the child Mahir, Shalal, Hashbaz, which means the spoiled seeds, the prey hastens. For before the child shall know how to cry, my father, my mother, the riches of Damascus, and the spoil of Samaria will be carried away before the king of Assyria. Isaiah 8:4. Clearly, the woman mentioned in Isaiah 7:14 and chapter 8, verse 3 and 4 are one and the same. And that's she is, drum roll please. Who is this woman? Isaiah's wife. Hebrew freaking highlighter. Hebrew freaking highlighter, damn it. Maybe I do need to switch to decaf. I'm enjoying this beat down. I feel like, what's his name? I'm trying to think of the former champion that knocked out Jake Paul. That's how I'm feeling right now. I knew it was going to go down like that. Joshua. Yeah, I feel like Anthony Joshua. I feel like Anthony Joshua right now. I feel like I just broke the jaw of the virgin birth. I broke the jaw of white Jesus that was born of a virgin birth. I broke the jaw of the lie of the virgin birth. I broke it so bad, you Christians and you Hebrew Israelites want to sue me. If you want to sue me, speak to my lawyers. My wife and I were lawyered up. I guess we are Jewish. Maybe that's why I'm so close to Judaism. I'm like, man, I agree so much. I think I'm becoming Jewish, family. Oh, man. Shout out to my Jewish family. I love my Jewish people. Shout out to the Jewish family. I love everybody. I got to love everybody. I got love for everybody, family. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. This is Isaiah's wife. Nothing to see here. No virgin birth here. The real sign to King Ahaz is that Isaiah's child will be born quickly. And before he matures, knowing the difference between good and evil, and father and mother, the nations who threaten the kingdom of Judea will be defeated. You know what time it is. That's the real sign. Interestingly, Isaiah's children are specifically referred to as a signs from God. Wow. Behold, I and the children whom the Lord has given me are for signs and wonders in Israel. Isaiah 8:18. Isaiah 8:18. King Ahaz was told to trust in God for assistance and to ask for a sign as proof that his enemies will be defeated. He is told that the sign will be the birth of a child from the young woman, Alma, not Betula. Betula means virgin. Alma means young woman. He is told that the sign will be the birth of a child from the young woman, who will call the child Immanuel. Immanuel. Verse 4, right here. Well, it's got a, not verse 4, but citation 4. Although this name means God is with us, it does not mean that the child will be divine. You knew I was going to do that. You knew I was going to highlight that. It is very common for biblical personality to have names that include God and part of their name. For example, Daniel, which means God is my judge. The implication was that God would be with Ahaz and the kingdom of Yehuda in their fights against their enemies. That's the implication. Not that this child is actually God. Another example, the name Elihu. Elihu means God is he. God is he. Elihu. Or you mean to tell me that Elihu is God? No, Elihu is not the Most High God. But Elihu is another name that has the name God included within it. And our ancestors, before they were taken into the transatlantic slave trade throughout Africa, had theophoric Hebrew names. Their names had the name of the Creator, Yah. The name of the Creator was in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end of the names. That's right. Let's finish this article off. Isaiah refers to this when he says, contrive a scheme, but it will be failed. Conspire a plot, but it will not stand. For God is with us. Immanuel. Isaiah 8:10. Let's double check that. Isaiah 8:10. Let's get it. It says, take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand. For God is with us. That's what it says. We go to tools. Let's find that phrase. God is with us. Immanuel. God is with us. With us, God. You're welcome. Let's go back. Fantastic article, by the way. We did actually correct the article. The article actually made a mistake that I'm actually using to debunk the virgin birth. It actually made a mistake. So I'm correcting the source that I'm actually using. Dang. That's how deep we get, though. That's how deep our studies. We got to tap in, family. We got to double check everything. Okay, let's go. Isaiah 8:10. Eventually, the northern kingdom of Israel and Aram, Syria, are vanquished by the armies of Sennacherib, king of Assyria, Babylon, who exiled the northern kingdom. The king of Assyria invaded the entire country. The king of Assyria captured Samaria and exiled Israel. 2 Kings 17:5-6. Thus, God saved Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem from the hand of Sennacherib, king of Assyria. Ooh, that's another right there. That's another Creole special. Can I go ahead and show off that box? Elder Byron? I'm going to go ahead and show off jambalaya. Do we get any more Creole than that? Look at this. Look at this, fam. Look at it. Look at here. I'm getting hungry. This is for you, Elder Byron. Jambalaya. Can't wait to go to New Orleans. Shout out to all my woadies. Salute, water. All my woadies. I'm not saying it right. I don't know how to say woadie. I'm from Cali. Jambalaya. Creole seasoning. Just erase the pork part. This is actually not pork. This is actually turkey. It's turkey. Just believe us. Now, it's probably pork in the picture, but, you know, we don't eat pork. Not anymore. But here you go, baby. Here you go. Thank you. I just wanted to show off. That was for Elder Byron. He lives in Baton Rouge. Yeah, he's Creole. All right, so let's finish this off right here, family. Thus God saved Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem from the hand of Sennacherib, king of Assyria. 2 Chronicles 32:22. The concept of a virgin birth preceded Christianity and has its roots in Greco-Roman mythology. You know what time it is. I ain't got to say it. Numerous Greek and Roman gods were born of virgin births, as recorded in the Golden Bow by Fraser. For example, Tammuz and Attis, who both were claims to be of virgin births. The virgin birth, this idea, this invention, came before Christianity. Before Jesus was allegedly born of a virgin birth, so were Tammuz and Attis. The concept of the virgin birth was adopted by Christianity from the pagan world and has no foundation in Judaism. I'm highlighting that. We do need to make our way down there. Facts. Isaiah is clearly describing an event that has no messianic connotations. In fact, the word Messiah is never used in this chapter. I agree 100%. Or in the words of NBA players who say cliches all day, I agree with this article 110%, which is impossible, by the way. It's also impossible for many of them to have an original thought. I get it, though. They don't want to get sued and scrutinized, so they say the same old talking points. And we give it 100%, 110%. You know, I trust my teammates. You know, blase, the same old spiel. This article was written in 2005, written and compiled by Rabbi Ben Sion Salika, Rav Ben Sion Kravitz. No, not Lenny Kravitz. It's not written by Lenny Kravitz. It's written by his cousin. I want to get away. I want to fly away. I want to get away. Okay. All right. No, this is not Lenny Kravitz. This might be his cousin. This might be his cousin. I tell you what, man. Shout out to Rav Ben Sion Kravitz. All right. Here's some footnotes, by the way. Number one, a careful comparison of Jesus' genealogy listed in the book of Luke provides a good example of how the Gospels contradict one another. That's what the Gospels tend to do. Additionally, Matthew's genealogy lists prove genealogical, I'll roll with that, proves Jesus could not be the promised Messiah because he is not from the tribe of Judah a messianic requirement. Genesis 49:10, transmitted solely by the biological father. Numbers 1:18, Luke's genealogy proves that Jesus could not be the Messiah because he is not a descendant of King David through his son Solomon. Another messianic requirement, 2 Samuel 7:12-16, and 1 Chronicles 22:9 and 10. Number two, footnote number 2. This occurred after the reign of King Solomon. Footnote number 3, in the story of Rivka, she is called both a virgin, Betula, in Genesis 24:16, and a young woman, Alma, later in Genesis 24:43. Christians incorrectly claim that this proves that an Alma is a virgin. An Alma, young woman, may or may not be a virgin, but the word does not teach this. A virgin may be young or old, but the word Betula does not tell us her age. In this story, the first reference is in a narrative given by God, who knew her physical status as a virgin. I'm gonna go ahead and put the title back on screen. We're just enjoying the leftovers from this feast that we got tonight. This roast that we're enjoying. We're just eating some leftovers right here. This is leftovers right here. These footnotes are leftovers. It's just additional. Right here. In this story, the first reference is in a narrative given by God, who knew her physical status as a virgin. Later, when Abraham's servant Eleazar, we don't know if his name was Eleazar. This article, we're going to correct the article again. We don't know the servant's name. They're inserting that. According to oral tradition, according to the Talmud, Abraham's servant here is Eleazar. That's oral tradition. That's from the Talmud. And it's crazy because a lot of Hebrew Israelites say this. They say that Abraham's servant was Eleazar. And they're actually not quoting the Torah. They're actually quoting Talmud. The same book that they claim to hate is the same book they claim. The same book that they claim to hate is the actual book that the same book that they actually hate is the book they actually follow. Abraham's servant Eleazar repeats the story from his perspective. He calls her a young woman since he knew her age, but not her physical status. Some Christians have mistakenly quoted Rashi on Isaiah 7:14. Rashi is a legendary scholar, a legendary rabbi within the Talmud. You would find Rashi drops a lot of gems. I've quoted Rashi before. Some Christians have mistakenly quoted Rashi on Isaiah 7:14 as saying that the word Alma refers to a woman who never had intercourse in her life. This is a mistranslation of the Hebrew word Netanav eats, which means to prophesize. It means to prophesize. You can see the root word in it. For those who read the Ivri, you can see the root word in this. It means to prophesize. They confused it with similar sounding word that means intercourse. Rashi says that the woman never prophesied before in her life and now prophetically gave the child the name Immanuel. The same Hebrew word is used by Rashi in his commentary on Numbers 16:7 and means prophesied. They also quote the same Rashi as saying that the Alma was not fit to give birth. This does not mean she was a virgin, just that she was not fit to give birth. Similarly, Abraham's wife, Sarah, who was barren and unfit to give birth to Isaac, was undeniably not a virgin. Woo! Shout out to Lenny Kravitz, Rabbi Ben Sion Kravitz. I want to get away. Yeah. All right. All right, family. Hopefully you enjoyed that article. I enjoyed it. That was fun. Now, let's get back to the scriptures. That was a slow roast. That was man. The virgin birth. Rabbi Ben Sion Kravitz, he stomped him out. Now, he got some things wrong now. He got a few things wrong now. Let's be honest. He got a few things wrong, but that's okay. That's when we came in and we grouped up. We jumped the virgin birth. Together, we stomped out the virgin birth. We stomped him out. We helped out Rav Ben Sion, Lenny Kravitz. I want to get away. I want to fly away. All right. What was I? Nostalgia. That's where I was at. I was nostalgia, family. I'm getting hungry. It's crazy. I'm still hungry after this feast we just had. I'm still hungry. All right, family. Let's go to Isaiah 7:14. Here's the kicker. We're going to actually read Isaiah 7:14 in Hebrew, and then I'm going to open up the panel. If you like to give your rebuttal, if you like to prove me wrong, if you like to add some edification to the article, to the teaching, I will give you the opportunity real shortly. But before I do that, family, we're going to read in biblical Hebrew what the verse is actually saying, and then we're going to double check that word, what they translate as virgin in Isaiah 7:14. Notice that I said they translate as virgin. Virgin. Now, let's go to Isaiah 7:14. Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Hallelujah. The Masoretic text, the biblical Hebrew, the real Hebrew, not no Lashwan Kudash garbage, the real Hebrew says, Lakein yitain Adonai hu lachem, ot hine, ha'alma, hara, we yoledetz, bain, we karata, we karat, shemo, Immanuel. Hallelujah. Let's read that again for emphasis. Let's put some stank on it. Lakein latin, lakein yitain, Adonai hu lachem, ot hine, ha'alma, hara, we yoledetz, bain, we karat, shemo, Immanuel. For thus, therefore, lakein, for thus, or therefore, yitain, he will give, shall give, Adonai, the Lord, who, he, or himself, lachem, to y'all, like I'm from the south, to y'all, or you, ot, sign, a sign, hine, behold, Ha'alma, not Betula. Remember, Ha'alma is speaking about a specific young woman, not a virgin. The King James got it wrong again. It's not a virgin, it's the young woman. Hara, she will conceive, shall conceive. Weyoledets, and bear. Bane, son, a son. Wekarat, and shall call Shemo, his name, Imanu Il. Imanu, with us, Il, God. That's the translation. That's the translation. That's the translation. I'm doing my Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm just, that's right. Since they don't believe the facts, I'm going to try to hypnotize them. Okay. Laken yitain Adonai hu lakim. O tene. Laken yitain Adonai hu lakim. O tene ha'alma hara we yoledets bain we charat shemo imanu el. The word mistranslated as a virgin is ha'alma, which means not a virgin. It means the young woman. Click on that word alma, 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 alma.
Strong's H 5959. Alma, alma.
There you go. They're playing games. There we go. Young woman. Young woman. Brown driver Briggs. However, the word virgin. Now, keep in mind, this Alma, this young woman, can be a virgin. So I'll go ahead and fix that. They're playing games, but maybe they're not, okay? Because technically that's true. A young woman can be a virgin. So I'll give them that. Ain't no shame in my game, family. I'll go ahead and correct myself live. I ain't got to lie to kick it. I'm not trying to be right. Even though I'm trying to be right, I don't have to be right. Virgin, young woman. So yes, a young woman in Alma can be a virgin. Absolutely. However, here's the kicker. The specific word for virgin is not Alma. Even though outline of biblical usage, virgin, young woman of marriageable age, maid or newly married. And notice that the brown driver Briggs just gets to the point, young woman. Ripe sexually, maid or newly married. They get to the point because the specific word for virgin is not Alma. Let me show you what the specific word is. For those who came late, I got you. It's all right. We could run it back. On screen, I typed in virgin. I'm gonna go ahead and type it again. I'm gonna show you guys how you can do it. You just type in virgin. Go to lexicon. You'll find Strong's results. The word right here is betula. Betula. Betula.
Strong's H 1330. Bethulah. Bethulah.
Betula. 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 What does Betula mean? You guessed it. Virgin. Brown Dropper Briggs. Virgin. Compare Arabic. Virgin. It means virgin. Betula specifically means virgin. All glory to our great King. Now, let's go ahead and recap. Since we debunked the virgin birth, we debunked the idea that it's a dual prophecy. We parsed the Hebrew. We discovered the correct terminology. Let's go ahead and read it correctly in English one more time. And then I'll go ahead and open up the panel. Am I got my screen? Yeah, let me hide it. Go back to it. Right here, family. Isaiah 7:14. Therefore, Adonai himself shall give you a sign. Behold, the young woman shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. All glory, all praises, all kavod to Yah. Thank you, family, for joining me tonight. Now, if you'd like to come on the panel, here is your opportunity. Here is your chance. Feel free to voice your opinion. Join the panel now on screen. You can join the panel. I'm going to hang out and see where this goes. Join the panel now. Family, give me a second. I'm going to be right back. Don't go nowhere. I'm going to be right now. I'm going to be right back. But until then, join the panel. I got you. I'm back, family. Thank you for being patient with me. All glory to Yah. It looks like we have a guest at this time. On screen, we have Zakane, which means elder. Elder Byron Willer. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, brother. How
Elder
you doing?
Byron. Yes, you're on. Yes. Tove. I'm Tove. Thank you. Thank you. I need Tove. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And I'm glad to hear that you wasn't on mute. And when your wife said, "Yeah, you knocked it out the park," I was like, "Boy, it's good to hear the husband and wife support like that."
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And most of the time that's the case. I can't say definitively 100%, but I can say most of the time it is. And I'm blessed with abundance. I'm just so thankful for my better half, for my Isha, for my wife. And I really encourage Israelite men to get married. Stop playing games. Stop holding on. Stop playing the field. Get married. You're not settling down. No, you're moving on up.
I agree. Now, on the topic, the virgin birth, got a question for you. Now, what part of the New Testament do you believe in when it comes to the birth of Yeshua? And if it wasn't a virgin birth, then who was his father?
Those are fantastic questions. That's one of those classic two-parters, which I hate. I hate two-parters. My wife always nails me with two-part questions. Sometimes three-part questions. I don't have a clue. You smell smoke, you hear gears grinding. That's because my brain is thinking. Now, the first part is goodness gracious. I might need another round of coffee. What was repeat the first question?
What part of Yeshua's birth do you believe in?
Okay. Thank you. I don't know. This is brutally honest with you. As a moray, I'm not afraid to sound like a moron. I don't know, because Matthew and Luke, they're conflicting. They're saying two different things. I brought up the issues with Matthew and Luke. They're saying two different things. I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole and talk about the discrepancies, the differences between Matthew and Luke. I mean, we can, but I'll just sum it up and say that they're telling a different version of the birth of the Messiah. So I don't know what to believe, to answer that question. I don't know. To me, my foundation is the quote unquote Old Testament. My foundation is the Torah, the first 5 books, but also my foundation includes the prophets, which is the Nevi'im, and also the writings, the Ketuvim. So that's where I start from. That's how I build a house. I build a house by using the Tanakh as my foundation. And if any New Testament writing doesn't line up with the foundation, which is the Old Testament, which is the Tanakh, then I don't got to rock with it. So I don't know, Elder.
Okay. Now, the second question. Who was Yeshua's father?
I would say that it's Yosef. I'll say that Joseph is his father. Now, the narrative may not say that. It may or may not say that. But to me, it would have to be a natural birth. I conclude by process of elimination that Yeshua was born of a natural birth. I believe that Yeshua bar Yosef existed. Yeshua bar, which means son in Aramaic, and Yosef, the son of Joseph. So I would say that Yahusha was the son, that Joseph was his father. That's just me doing my best guess, but I don't even have to be right on that. But that's just my best attempt, Zycane, and I'm not afraid to say that.
Well, the reason I had asked that question, the second question, because if you say that he was born of Joseph, well, you say that he was begotten of Joseph, but in Matthew, it doesn't even say that he was begotten of Joseph. It says that Joseph, the husband of Mary, the mother of Yeshua. So at no times it says that Joseph was his father. One. Two, Joseph never claimed to be his father. There's nowhere written that where it says that Joseph claimed to be his father. Three, Yeshua never claimed to be Joseph's son. Even when he was in the temple and he asked the Pharisees, who do you say that I am? Yeah, they said, well, we say that you are the son of David. He said, okay, in the spirit, how is it that if I'm the son of David, David said to my Lord, let my Lord sit on my right hand until I make his enemies his footstool. So if David called me my Lord, then how am I his son? Even when the demons came and they bowed down. The demons said, ye son of God. When he went to Peter, he said, Peter, who do the people say that I am? Peter said, everything that the people said that he was. He said, okay, but Peter, who do you say that I am? He said, you are the son of the living God. So the question that we would have to ask ourselves, if he isn't the son of David, that means he's not the son of Joseph. Since he is not the son of Joseph, then he's the son of who? According to what Yeshua said, he's the son of God. According to what Peter said, he's the son of God. According to what the angel said, he's the son of God. Because that spirit that was inside of Mary's womb, that was the spirit of the living God, which is his son. And Mary's womb is that what made him born of a man, because he came the same way every man is born, through the womb of a woman. So basically, he was the son of man because he came through the womb of a woman. But his soul was the soul of the Son of God because it came straight from God and not from a man's seed. And I'll go ahead and let you rebut on that.
I'm glad that you made the difference between soul and seed, because in the past, I know you've conflated the two. They're not the same thing. Soul is nephesh, which is feminine. It's a feminine noun, which is our living being. It's our soul, it's our being. So technically, we're all feminine on the inside. No matter how hardcore or manly you are, we're all feminine on the inside. Our living existence is feminine, nephesh. And also you said zara, which means seed. So I'm glad that you said zera, which means seed. I'm glad that you made the difference between the two. I appreciate that. I really do. Because, I'm a stickler. I love Hebrew. I love our language. And, I don't like to misquote or conflate those terms. But hey, you have every right to believe that what you just said, that the Messiah, basically his soul came from the Most High. To me, like I said, I'm going ahead and say it again. I don't use Matthew or Luke. I don't use that as my foundation. I use the actual Tanakh, the Old Testament. And what I'm saying is that I'm basing my argument based on the Tanakh, because the Tanakh existed before the New Testament. And regardless of who the daddy is, according to Isaiah 7:14, this is not a virgin birth. It's not even speaking about a virgin birth. It has nothing to do about a virgin birth prophecy. So that's my foundation. But I understand that the New Testament, it says some things that's conflicting, and you may be right with those claims. There may not be references where Yahusha's calling Joseph dad. You may be right. To me, it's not even worth looking into. It's not even worth my time looking into. Why? Because it doesn't line up with Isaiah 7:14. So regardless of Yahusha, if his daddy was Yosef, if it was Benjamin, if it was Tyrone, whoever his dad was, it's irrelevant to Isaiah 7:14. Isaiah 7:14 says that a young woman, not a virgin, a young woman. If it would have used the word Betula, which means virgin, then I may be saying something else. Then I may be saying something what you're saying. But to me, the foundation is the Tanakh. We have to read the Bible from beginning to end, not how Christians and many Hebrew Israelites, they read the Bible. They read it from the end to the beginning.
Okay, Isaiah 7:14, it says, an almond shall conceive, which can also be a virgin shall conceive, which also, that word could also mean a virgin. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And we showed that in the article because, like I said, like, I'm objective. I don't have to hide anything to prove that I'm right. The article from Jews for Judaism brought that out. And also in the definitions, in the lexicons that we went over, it said exactly what you said. The word Alma can mean virgin or it cannot mean virgin. But the heart of the meaning is young woman. It's a young woman. And Isaiah knew the difference between the two Hebrew words. He knew the difference between Alma, which means young woman, and he knew the difference between the word Betula, which means virgin. Betula only means virgin. And check it. Isaiah used the word Betula. He used the word Betula in Isaiah 47, verse 1. So what I'm saying is that the prophet Isaiah, Yeshayahu, he knew those two Hebrew words. He knew Ha'alma, which means Ha'alma, the young woman, and he knew the word Betula, which means virgin. But in Isaiah 7:14, he doesn't use the word Betula, which specifically means virgin. What does he do? He uses the word Alma, which means young woman. If this person who was born was a virgin, if this person that was given birth was a virgin, it would have used the word Betula.
All righty. I understand what you're saying, but even in the New Testament, when it's describing in the angel, well, the angel comes to her and tell her that she's going to conceive a child. She says, and she tells him that I am a virgin. The same thing in Isaiah 7:14, but you're going to say, since it did not use this certain word, that doesn't mean. Now we're starting to be like, okay, I needed to see exactly what it says, and I need this to mean this right here. Even though the New Testament, Joseph never said that he had sex with Mary. As a matter of fact, he says the opposite of that. Mary even said that she was a virgin. Now you have the one that you say isn't a virgin saying that she's telling you that she is, and you have the one that's saying I'm not the father saying that he is.
I think you're making the mistake. I think you're making the mistake. Oh, I think somebody else is. Oh, I think you joined twice, Byron.
Yeah, they kicked me off and it came back off. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, is that better?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
yes.
So, like, I think the mistake that I perceive that you're making is that you're using the New Testament to prove Isaiah 7:14. Like, I would like you to use Isaiah 7:14 to prove that this is specifically speaking about a virgin. When the text, the Hebrew, I rely on the Hebrew. I'm not relying on English. So the translators, they can use gymnastics. They can use these terminologies to try to prove that this is speaking about a virgin birth. But what I'm saying is that Isaiah knew the difference, but he chose to use the word Alma, which means young woman. And this thing would happen. Like, this is not speaking about a future prophecy. Like, this child that would be born in Isaiah 7:14, this child will be born quickly, and before Aram, Syria, the kingdom of Aram or Syria, and before the northern kingdom, before the child was born, or when the child was, before the child knew the difference between right and wrong, before this child knew the difference between refusing good to do evil, the kingdom of Aram and the northern kingdom, Israel, would fall. They would be taken over by King Assyria. And this was fulfilled. This was fulfilled. We find the fulfillment in throughout Isaiah. You don't have to go too far. So what I'm saying is, it's not speaking about a prophecy that would happen approximately 500 to 60 years later. It's only speaking about what's happening at that moment. King Ahaz, who was the king of Judea, the king of Judah, the king of Judea, the southern kingdom, he had two threats from Aram, Syria, and the northern kingdom, Judah, or the northern kingdom, Israel. They teamed up together, and King Ahaz was worried about that. And so, like, what I'm saying is that this child will be born during that period, not 500 to 60 years later. So, like, in order for you to prove your position that this is specifically speaking about a prophecy, you have to do it with Isaiah 7:14, not taking a flight to Matthew or Luke.
But Jaden, you see what you just said contradict. You said disprove the virgin birth. Okay, the virgin birth took place over there where you telling me you can't go to. That's one. Two, if you go to verse 13 in Isaiah 7, this prophecy was for the house of David. It wasn't for the king, because Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt the Lord. But he said, listen now, house of David. It is a small thing for you to weary men, that you will weary my God also. So this was for the house of David. That just wasn't for King Ahaz. And then you also said that it says that it has to hurry up and take place. Show me where it said it had to hurry up and take place. Where's that scripture at?
Were you listening to the article, Elder Byron? I got to ask you that.
If I was listening to the article, I kind of was paying attention to the article, but the article came from who?
Jews for Judaism.
Okay, it came from the synagogue of Satan. So you want me to listen to how they described it when Yeshua said and even told them, you are of your father Satan. So I'm supposed.
I think we lost Elder Byron. Maybe because he referred to a group of people as a synagogue of Satan, which I wouldn't do. That is not of Yah. That is grossly taken out of context. He's using Revelation, a verse in Revelation. I forgot. I mean, it's quoted so much by the camps. I should know this by heart. I'm gonna take a guess. I think it's Revelations 3 or something like that. But hopefully Elder Byron comes back. Elder Byron, are you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with my phone tonight.
I promise you, I didn't do anything. Yeah, but it's all good. So
something popped up. I'm like, what was that? But yeah, like I was saying, I understand you going to different sources and stuff like that. I commend that. But I can't up here or hold to something when it comes to that Talmud or something that the Jews said. As much as they have been rebuked and as much wrong that we see within them, even though we know that they're the synagogue of Satan. So how we gonna hold on to anything that they wrote or said? Because we know everything they wrote or said is trying to mislead us, the true children of Israel.
All right, so I'd like to address something, Elder Byron. You know I love you, Zakane, but I would not refer to a group of people as the synagogue of Satan. Just because you disagree with their religion, just because you disagree with how some of them act. Notice I said some, not all of them act like that. There's actually a lot of loving and respectful and righteous Jewish people. I got love for Jewish people. I got love for all people. So for you to refer to them as the synagogue of Satan, I think I gotta say how I love. I think you should repent from that. I think that you are definitely better than that. I wouldn't. I expect more for you because you're as arcane. So like for you to refer to the Jewish community as the synagogue of Satan, I think that's not right to do. But hey, what do you think of that? Before I give my rebuttal on Isaiah 7, what do you think about that?
Well, I hear what you're saying there, Brother Jaden, but I'm just going to go from what the word tells us. One, in the book of Revelation, it refers to them as the synagogue of Satan, those who call themselves Jews but are not Jews. And we all know that the ones that's over there in Israel that's calling themselves the children of Israel are not the children of Israel. We all know that. That's one. Two, when the Pharisees came and spoke to Yeshua, he rebuked them himself and he called them what? He called them devil because they were of their father, the devil. I'm not saying that out of hatred or anything. I'm just saying that from what the word tells me. Now, if I've said something wrong according to the word, then let me know that I said something wrong according to the word. But I don't personally, it doesn't matter to me one way or the other because when I did my ancestry DNA, I am 1% Ashkenazi Jew. I have that in my lineage, in my DNA. So like I said yesterday, I can't hate no one because I have a little bit of everything in my DNA. I can't hate no one. I'm just going off of what the Bible says. And with that, I yield to you.
And I totally disagree with that. You can be of the same nationality of somebody and totally hate them. I believe you definitely can. So we just see it differently there. You're talking about the synagogue of Satan. That's referring to a certain group of churches. But also, Revelation is one of those books that I don't have to take heed to. I look at it as additional information. It was even considered dubious because they had the least amount of copies floating around. But hey, if you want to hold on to Revelations, you can. But I mean, I find some things to be problematic. I think there's a lot of symbolic things going on that is hard to understand, and people they try to decode it and interpret it. And to me, it's like a rabbit hole. It just becomes confusing. But yeah, I gotta say I'm disappointed in you. That's the way how you feel that you're going to refer to them. You refer to them collectively. You just broad brush. You lump them all together and said they're from the synagogue of Satan. And that's what some people of other nationalities. That's what they do to us. So for you to return that same evil, I'm disappointed in you. I expect more from you. But hey, I'll go ahead and get to Isaiah. What you were saying about Isaiah, you said, "Oh, house of David." I got to mention to you that King Ahaz is related to King David. King Ahaz is the current king at this time, and he's related to King David. So I just want to keep that in mind. Also, the context right here: war against Jerusalem. King Ahaz is worried. He's worried about Rezin, the king of Syria, and he's worried about Pekah, the king of Israel. And so I just want to get some clarification there. It says, butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings. Let me go ahead and read something a little bit more understandable because I'm from Stockton. This is for me. So before the boy knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land whose two kings you dread will be deserted. This right here lets you know that this will happen quickly. This will happen in somewhere in that window, somewhere in that period. This would not happen during the time of Jesus. King Ahaz would not be the king at that time. So that's my quick response to your questions.
But brother Jaden, what you just did in Isaiah 13, how you explained it, that's opposite of what you did in Isaiah 14, because in Isaiah 14, you said Isaiah would have used the correct word. Instead of using almond, he'd have used the word for virgin in Hebrew. Right here in Isaiah 13, instead of him saying, listen now, house of David, he'd have said, listen now, Ahaz. Because since he didn't say that, that means the whole house of David. So if it's the whole house of David, that means that this prophecy was really going to Judah, because that's the house of David. The house of David is Judah. And the two kings was the king of the northern tribes and the king of the southern tribes. And when Yeshua came back, neither one of those tribes had the king that was of Israel that was sitting on the throne, unless I'm mistaken. You can go ahead, brother.
Sorry about that. Sorry about if I was breaking up a little bit, but yeah, it's talking about the house of David. Let me go ahead and highlight it. It says, and he said, hear ye now, O house of David. You answered it. You're talking about it's Judah. So you actually answered your own question. This is referring to Judah. It's referring to the royal family of Judah. And it's speaking about King Ahaz's dynasty. But this includes King Ahaz. King Ahaz is related to King David. So this is speaking about the royal family.
Okay, but that still wasn't when both the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom did not have a king that was sitting on the throne. Because doesn't it says in that time, the land whose two kings you abhor shall be forsaken. So the two kings won't be there. The king of Judah or the king of Israel. So that didn't happen in the time of Ahaz. And even when you go to Isaiah 8 with the child that Isaiah and the prophetess has, that was only one king, the king of Assyria during that time. It wasn't both kings when that baby was born. I'll go ahead and mute now.
Yes, this is not talking about Jesus. That's way after. This is speaking about the time period of King Ahaz. You're right. You're actually answering it, Zakane. King, you did pay attention to the article. Yes. And honestly, I agree a lot with the article. And I don't know if you remember, but I corrected the article a couple times because the article actually did make a few mistakes. It made a couple of mistakes. And I'm objective. I used the article. I agree a lot with Judaism. I agree more with Judaism than I do Hebrew Israelites. A lot of Hebrew Israelites are Christians. A lot of them are holding on to black Jesus. They just whitewashed, they just blackwashed Jesus. They're still holding on. They worship a man. They believe in the virgin birth. They believe that this Jesus is, or this black Jesus is a, the seed of, from the Most High. But I'm like, if that's the case, we're all the seed. If that's the case, because we, Israel, we're the son. We're the firstborn. We're the son of the Most High. We're the son of Yah. So that's how I look at it. I look at it collective. But Isaiah 7 speaks about two kings that are joining forces together. I'll go ahead and scroll up to the top and show the verses again. Right here. Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, the son, and Pekah, the king of Israel. They're tag teaming. They're coming together. And King Ahaz, he's the king of Judah. He's the king of Judea, the kingdom of Judah. He's afraid of this. He's afraid of this alliance that they got going on. But before the child, in verse 15, or verse 16, for before the child shall know to refuse. Let me go ahead and go back to something better. I'll go NIV. For before the boy knows enough to reject the wrong and choose the right, the land of the two kings you dread. It's talking about those two kings. It's talking about Rezin, the king of Aram, the king of Syria, and King Pekah, the king of Israel. That's the two kings. We just read it in context. And he dreads these both kings. He dreads both these kings. He's afraid. He's shook. He's a shook one over both these kings. What happened? What will happen? Will be laid waste. So before this child will know the difference, to know how to choose between wrong, to reject wrong, and to choose right. Before this child would know how to reject evil and choose what's right, the land of the two kings you dread will be laid waste. And this happened by King Sennacherib, King Sennacherib. So I'm just going over this again, but like the answers is within context. We don't have to jump all the way to Matthew. It's right here. But yeah, I yield.
So who gave birth? Which virgin gave birth to this child right here, Emmanuel, which means God's walking amongst us. That's what Emmanuel, and even in the New Testament, isn't that what was told to Joseph? And he was reminded of that right there. But you said Joseph should have known that because of Mary not being knowing a man and that she was a virgin. So Joseph should have known that. But if that's the case, then why didn't the people know that? And why didn't all the disciples know that?
Once again, that's not my fight. Hey, that's above my pay grade. There we go. The New Testament's above my pay grade. I don't need the New Testament to prove the Old Testament. That's the problem we're having here. I want you to prove that this person is a virgin. When we know that the Hebrew says it's not. This person is a Alma. Ha-Alma. It's speaking about a specific woman. I'll go ahead and highlight it again. This is speaking about a specific woman, not a woman, not like out of a group of women. It's talking about a specific woman right here. It says, therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin. That's wrong. The King James got it wrong. That's incorrect. The Hebrew don't say that. Our language don't say that. It says,
how many of the other?
I'll go ahead and let you cut me. Go ahead. I'll let you cut me.
Okay, but how many other translations say virgin? And how many other translations say young lady? Since we go to the other translations to see what they say, but you say the Hebrew doesn't say this, but just about all the other translations says virgin. But we're not gonna go ahead and hold to that right now. Now we're gonna go ahead and hold to the Hebrew on this right here. To me, that's almost like a double standard. Like for this right here, we're going to hold this standard, but for this right here, we can hold this standard. It should be the same standard all the way through. If we're going to hold that standard to that, because earlier you said Isaiah would have known to use the right word. So if Isaiah, like I said earlier, if Isaiah would have known that, then instead of him saying house of David, he'd have said Ahaz, because Ahaz was the one originally in the verse before that was being spoken to. But Ahaz was speaking. But then when the Lord answered, he came back and answered for the whole house of David. So we can't go ahead and say, well, this right here, but then right here, this means this. And then if it's the virgin birth that we are disproving, you have to go to the New Testament where the virgin birth was given, because there's nowhere in the Old Testament where this virgin birth was given after Isaiah 7. You can't say Isaiah 8 because the prophetess. How do you know that the prophetess was a virgin? Or how do you know that the prophetess was a young lady? Because she was never called an almond or a virgin. And I'll yield to you on that one.
Well, that's how we would know. They would use the word patula. You answered it again. If we would have known, they would have used that word. There would be no confusion. Isaiah knew the two words. So Isaiah wasn't game goofy. He wasn't stupid. Isaiah was extremely wise. He was wise. He was led by the Ruach HaKodesh of Yah. So I'm not going to say that Isaiah is stupid. He doesn't know the difference between a Betula and Alma. We're talking about the word of Yah here. You have to be accurate. You have to know what you're talking about. So Isaiah, I believe, knows what he's talking about. I think if he was led by the Ruach, if she, the Ruach HaKodesh, if she, the Holy Spirit, empowered Isaiah to write or to say virgin, he would have said Betula, but he didn't. He said Alma instead. So going back, I do want to bring some clarification right here. The word, it says, Lakein yitain Adonai hu lakem ot hene ha'alma. This is the young woman. This is speaking about a specific woman. It's not a virgin. This is correct. This is incorrect. The King James got it wrong. This is wrong. Even the RSV got it right. The RSV says, behold, a young woman. That's correct. So with that said, I also like to jump to right here. I like to touch up on this point because we're overlooking this point. It says, for before the child shall know to refuse evil and choose the good. So you mean to tell me at one point, Yahusha HaMashiach didn't know how. Yahusha HaMashiach at one point did not know how to refuse evil and choose good. So if this is speaking about an alleged virgin birth that would happen 560 years ago in Matthew or also in Luke, you mean to tell me at one point this Jesus did not know how to refuse evil and choose good? And my whole point to you, what I'm trying to say, Elder Byron, is that Isaiah 7:14 is not speaking about a virgin birth. That's what I'm saying. It's not talking about it. It's not talking about a virgin birth. If it was talking about a virgin birth, it would say Betula. It would say Betula. It wouldn't use the word Alma, which is, it can be virgin. Absolutely. We've already went through that. We acknowledge that. But Isaiah knew the difference between those two words. And I hold the Hebrew authoritative over English. Check it. Hebrew is the master. English is the slave. English is shook. We made it look. English is a slave to a page in the Hebrew rhyme book. I just want to give a reference to Nas, to Nasir, which is a Hebrew word, by the way. Shout out to Nas. That's a Hebrew word. With that said, I'm definitely digressing. I'm thinking about classic hip hop. Hebrew is the master. English is the slave. English needs Hebrew. Hebrew doesn't need English. So I choose to accept our language that Yah gave to us as authority. It's called the Hebrew Bible. It's written mostly in Ivrit, in Hebrew, not English. English did not exist. So I find it problematic that you're choosing English over Hebrew. I think that we should have pride in our language. We should value our language. We should cherish our language. Our ancestors had Hebrew names. Before they were taken captive, they had Hebrew names like Beneiah, which means Yah built. Our ancestors had Hebrew names like Yahya. But hey, if you want to choose English over Hebrew, do what you do. I'm not even trying to make you do anything because that'd be weird of me. But I'm relying on the Hebrew, and Isaiah is being technical. He knows the difference between an Alma, which is a young woman, and Betula, which is a virgin and only a virgin, Betula. Also, I like to land right here. I'm gonna pass it right back to you, Elder Byron. I'm long with it like you. We're both yappers. You know, I'm a yapper, bro. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and land by going to Isaiah 8, which is in the same ballpark. Isaiah 8, let's go to verse 4. For before the child shall have knowledge to cry, my father and my mother, Avi, and me, the riches of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria shall be taken away before the king of Assyria. That's the fulfillment. That is the fulfillment. That's the fulfillment of 16. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken to both her kings. I digress.
Okay, brother Jaden, you're a Hebrew Israelite. linguistic and you know the language. Okay, Isaiah 8 verse 1. That name, Maheltashel Hasbaz. What does that mean in Hebrew?
Yeah. So let me go ahead and pull it up because we covered that in the article. I'm gonna find it in the article. I was actually having a joke with it. My wife and I, we had a pretty funny joke because that sounds like a name you'll find a brother on the street corner from the Nation of Islam. That sounds like a Nation of Islam name. Hashbaz. The one that sounds like Shabazz. Shabazz Hashbaz. My wife and I were having some fun with that. Let me go ahead. I'm looking for the reference in the article because the article actually answers it beautifully. It gives the meaning. I mean, I can go ahead and give the meaning, but I actually want to go ahead and give the article from Jews for Judaism credit because I agree a lot with Judaism. I don't subscribe to the religion, but I subscribe to a lot to what they're saying because we come to the same conclusion. That's it. We just come to the same conclusion of things. So I'm finding the meaning off screen. I don't have it up, but I'm getting close. I'm getting warm. And I'm going to answer that question right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put the article back on. I'm gonna use their words right here. It is fulfilled in the next chapter with the birth of a child to the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah 7:14 is fulfilled in the next chapter. There's nothing to see here. He, Isaiah, approaches the prophetess, and she conceived Tahar and bore Talid, a son, and God said to me, name the child Mahir Shalal Hashbaz. Throw Shabazz in there too, which means the spoil speeds, the prey hastens. For before the child shall know how to cry, my father and my mother, the riches of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria will be carried away before the king of Assyria. Clearly, the woman mentioned in Isaiah 7:14 and Isaiah 3:4 are one and the same, in that she is Mary. No, I did it again. She is the mother of Jesus. Okay, I did it again. She is Isaiah's wife. The real sign to King Ahaz is that Isaiah's child will be born quickly and before he matures, knowing the difference between good and evil, and father and mother, the nations who threaten the kingdom of Judea will be defeated. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that. This is for the audience, not for you, elder. This is for the audience. That's my answer. I'm using Jews for Judaism. Shout out to the article. Shout out to Jews for Judaism. Shout out to Rabbi Ben Sion Kravitz, who wrote this article. That's my answer to your question. That's the meaning of Mahir Shalal Hashbaz.
All right, brother. Since you went to Isaiah 8 and you said that's the fulfillment of Isaiah 7:1, you just gave the definition to that name. That name does not mean God with us or God amongst us. That is what Emmanuel was said to be in the verse before. That's who Emmanuel is. Another thing. So in verse 8, that means God has now changed his name from Emmanuel to Mahaz Hashal Hastabaz, to that name right there. And then in verse 8, where was the prophetess Alma or a virgin? It never said that the prophetess was an Alma or a virgin. We don't even know if the prophetess had other children. We don't even know who the prophetess is. But we can't go to the New Testament because you say that doesn't apply here. What you just said, breaking down 7:14, doesn't apply here either because the name doesn't match. And we don't know if the prophetess was a virgin or a young lady. And I'll go ahead and yield to you.
Hallelujah. And to me, it's irrelevant whether she's a virgin or not, whether she got knocked up or not. To me, it's like beside the point. Now, the point is, the sign is that before this child matures, knows the difference to say, to choose evil or good over evil before the child can cry, my father, my mother, Avi and me. That these two kings, they'll get dealt with, and that the king of Assyria will take over. So that, to me, that's the king. That's the real sign. That's the kicker. That's the whole point of it. It's not speaking about a virgin birth. Now I'll go ahead and touch back on, because you mentioned God with us. God with us in verse 14. Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son. This is wrong. This is a young woman. A young woman shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. We find this phrase Emmanuel right here. Emmanuel, with us. Immanu, with us. El, God. And check it. We also find it in Isaiah chapter 8. Isaiah chapter 8, verse 10. Right here, here's the context. Damascus and Samaria fall, just as it was prophesied. This is the fulfillment of chapter 7. We just read about that the king of Damascus, the king of Aram, Damascus, the king of Israel, Samaria, they'll fall. We'll go to verse 10. Is it verse 10? Yes, it is. Take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand, for God is with us. It's right here. And let's get another translation, because I'm from Stockton. Let's go to NIV. Now we're talking. Devise your strategy, but it will be thwarted. Propose your plan, but it will not stand, for God is with us. It's got the footnote. It's not reading, but that's okay, because we can go to our language, which I take great pride in, right here. Imanu El. Imanu means with us. El means God. It's the same phrase. God with us. God with us. Emmanuel was mentioned in Isaiah 7:14, and it's mentioned again in fulfillment of Isaiah 7 in Isaiah 8:10. Isaiah 8:10. Emmanuel. That's my answer.
All right, Brother Jaden, when you go back and listen to the broadcast, you're going to notice that you changed the goalpost again. You changed the goalpost when you said that the virgin or the young lady don't matter. Now it is verse, 15 that mattered? It wasn't verse 14 anymore that doesn't matter when I asked to show me whether prophetess was either a virgin or a young lady. So that kind of changed right there. That's one. Two, in Isaiah 8, if you look at verse 8, and it shall sweep onward to Judah, it shall overflow and pass through, it shall reach even to the neck, and the stretching out of its wings shall fill the breadth of your land. Emmanuel. When did Shahabalas, the one that Isaiah, the prophet is conceived, when did he have wings? That's one. Two, and when was he God with us? That's three. So we still didn't prove the part about the almond and the virgin, that she said that it's not that important anymore. It's more verse 15, the butter and the honey. But then you went to chapter 8 and you said something about Emmanuel. In verse 8, it talks about wings. In verse 10, it talks about God with us. That's Emmanuel. And so when did God walk with the people after the people land had been forsaken of their kings? I'll yield to you on that.
That's a lot of questions. And I got to say this respectfully, elders, I can't. You're asking a lot of questions, and I'm actually, I'm taking the time to answer them. And I got to admit, it almost seems like it's an interrogation. I feel like I'm being interrogated. And I think it's like, if we're going to do this, like go back and forth, I think I should be able to ask questions as well. I'm just mentioning, I just noticed that it's a pattern. You're just hitting me with all these questions to try to prove that you're right. And you have every right, to believe that you're right, but I don't want this to be like an interrogation. That was a lot of questions. That was 3 questions. Goodness gracious. I can't remember
I'm
all those questions.
I'm sorry if it seems like I'm interrogating you. I'm sorry. It's just like you say, when we get passionate, when we start talking, we get passionate about something. So I'm sorry if it seems like I'm interrogating you. I don't want to do that. I like us when we just sit down and talk and reason together. So I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to disprove you or anything. Right now, we're still just reasoning together because by us talking, we're answering questions and bringing out things that other people that's going to come back and listen to your program, they might have a question about, and they might feel the same way. So I'm not trying to interrogate you or anything like that. I'm just trying to make sure that everything we say is clear for the audience.
Oh, it was crystal clear. I read the article from a scholar, from Rabbi Ben Zion Kravitz, who is not from the synagogue of Satan. No, he's from the Jewish community. I got love for him and for the Jewish community. Not everybody is an evil person from the Jewish community. So I made it crystal clear by reading a scholastic article. It's not from fly by night bumbleclap. This is from Jews from Judaism. They're scholars. You don't have to agree with them on everything. I don't agree with them on everything. There was times I've made some adjustments to the article because they did say some things that were not true. But with that said, I believe that the information that I gave out, I think that I did, my best to make it crystal clear. I took my time. I got my Dr. Umar Johnson on. I repeated myself multiple times. I defined the words. I read the Hebrew, and not just reading the Hebrew, but I explained what the words meant. So what I'm saying is that it's not speaking about a virgin birth that would happen 560 years later. That's what I'm saying. That's irrelevant. Like whether this Alma, where it says the Alma, whether Isaiah's wife was a virgin, to me, like to the whole point, the whole context, to the context of Isaiah 7 and Isaiah 8, it's irrelevant. So whether she's a virgin or not, it's irrelevant to Isaiah 7 and 8. It doesn't matter. The whole point is that before this child knows how to cry, my mother, my father, before this child knows how to reject evil and choose good, the kings of Israel, the northern kingdom, and the king of Israel, the northern kingdom, and the king of Aram, Rezin, they will fall by the king of Assyria. That's the point. That's the sign that this would happen swiftly. So that's what I'm saying. When I say that the virgin birth is irrelevant, it's irrelevant to the context of Isaiah 7 and 8. The real sign is right here. I'll go ahead and go over it again. And you don't have to like my answer, but I'm just sticking to the context of the original text, the Hebrew Bible. I don't have to take an airplane ride to the Gospels when the answers are right here. It says clearly, the woman mentioned in Isaiah 7:14 and 8:3-4 are one and the same, and that she is Isaiah's wife. The real sign to King Ahaz is that Isaiah's child will be born quickly and before he matures, knowing the difference between good and evil, father and mother. The nations who threaten the kingdom of Judea will be defeated. Interestingly, Isaiah's children are specifically referred to as signs from God. Behold, I and the children whom Jehovah have given me are for signs and wonders in Israel. Isaiah 8:18. King Ahaz was told to trust in God for assistance and to ask for a sign as proof that his enemies will be defeated. He is told that the sign will be the birth of a child from the young woman, who will call the child Emmanuel. Although this name means God is with us, it does not mean that the child will be divine. I'm going to highlight that. This is for the audience, which I've did this earlier, but I'll do it again. It is very common for biblical personality to have names that include God in part of their name, just like our ancestors. Our ancestors had the name Yah within their names before the transatlantic slave trade. We go to West Africa. We go to Igbo land. We go throughout Western and Central Africa. Our ancestors had theophoric names. They had names like this, God is with us, but they have the name Yah, specifically the name Yah. It is very common for biblical personality to have names that include God and part of their name. For example, Daniel, which means God is my judge. The implication was that God will be with Ahaz and the kingdom of Judah in their fight against the enemies. That's my answer, that God will be with them, not that the child is God.
Byron, I need my charger. Brother Jake,
Yes, sir.
you just said a lot. But while you were saying that, and I hope my phone don't die, Byron, bring me my charger. You said a lot, and still, I can't prove my point fully if we don't go to the New Testament. Because in the New Testament, you will find where it is God walking amongst the people, where Emmanuel is present amongst the people that was born of Mary. You will see that in the New Testament. You will even see it as to where the demons come and say what? You Holy One, you Son of God. The demons coming and speaking to that spirit that is inside of the baby. I mean, that is inside of Yeshua. So I can't prove anything unless we go to the New Testament.
And that's the kerfuffle that we're having, Elder. You're relying on the New Testament. I'm relying on the Old Testament. That's where we get off. That's where we go different ways. I don't need the New Testament to prove Isaiah 7:14. Why? Because Isaiah 7:14 already happened and already got fulfilled. It got fulfilled in chapter 8.
I don't agree with that it got fulfilled in chapter 8. That's what you're saying. But you still haven't shown where she was a virgin. You still haven't shown where she was a young lady. And you still haven't shown where that is Emmanuel, because in 7:14, he said his name shall be called Emmanuel. The whole name then changed in chapter 8. So I don't think Isaiah would have made that mistake to change the name if this was the same one. I don't think he'd have made that mistake. Because if he didn't make that mistake in between almond and virgin, he sure wouldn't have made a big mistake between Emmanuel and Shabazz Habazalaz. I'm Creole.
Once again,
I don't talk.
and,
I don't say names that well. Oh,
and once again,
and when I was saying,
oh yeah, you got it.
Hold on. And once again, off topic. When you showed me your Tony Sashry Creole seasoning, I was saying that my daddy worked at Tony Sashry's house as his gardener, and sometime my mom cooked for his family.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that edification. Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating. Wow. Yeah, it's got his name mentioned right here. It got his name mentioned right here. Well, we can agree on this finally. Let's see. Can y'all see his name right there? See, you ain't lying, Zakane. You right. Yeah.
Tony Sashry, he's from Opelousas.
Wow. Oh, that's fire. Yeah, my wife right now is actually making jambalaya. I'm not lying. But yeah, I mean, hey, Zakane, now we're talking about food. Now I'm getting hungry. And okay, I can smell it. My wife's making. I can't wait. I can't wait to have dinner. Okay. Let's go. You got it. You
haven't eaten yet. You need to. Oh, and another thing after this one right here, let's go ahead and wrap up, because I don't want your wife getting mad at me because she told you not to be on here too long. And you at the 3-hour mark, brother.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, hold on. I deserve that right there.
Yes. Practice loving your wife harder than she loves you. That way you can never see nothing she does wrong, and you'll never give her reason to call you wrong.
Hallelujah. Amen to that. Yes, my wife, we made an agreement that I will not go on past 8:30.
So good night
is the latest.
And we gonna close. We gonna close. How about we close with that right there? Good night. You and
8:30.
your wife enjoy yourself.
That's 8:30 Pacific time. So right now it's 7:42 p.m. So I still got a little bit of time. We can close out,
Okay.
properly. We don't have to be in a rush, like the name Mahal Shabash Hashbaz. We don't have to be in a rush.
Hey,
But
I'm sorry.
but
My wife is from down south. When she
all
starts to
right.
fussing, everybody clears the house. Even the dogs look at me and say, "You coming outside?" I'm like, "Yep, let's go."
Ah! That's good. That's good. That's good. But yes, yes. You can have the point back. I forgot what we were talking about. I'll go ahead and get back to you.
No, I was just saying that I understand what you're saying in that you want to say that it was fulfilled in verse 8, but it doesn't meet all the criterias, even though that scholars said that it does, it still doesn't meet all the criterias. And that's what the word has to meet the criterias. If it doesn't meet the criteria, then we're the liar. But the word is always the truth. We can't make the word the liar and we be the truth, because then if we do that, then there's no truth in us. Because now we're walking in a lie, because everything before us is our own way and our own understanding. And so that's the only thing that I'm saying. And the other thing with our discussions, I'm not trying to convince you to think like I'm thinking. The only thing that I'm here to do is to plant or to water. But after we discuss it, then it's up to you or to me, because you're doing the same thing with me, for me or you to now go to the Father and ask him for the increase of what we heard. And when we go to him, we can't go to him thinking that we already know the answer, because we come to him for the increase. But how you going to give us the increase if we think we already know what the increase is? So that's why I sit down, and some of the things you say I agree with and some that I don't agree with. But I still come and I sit down and I listen, because you might give me an insight on something that I haven't seen. Just like today when we were talking, I was looking at some verses dealing with the Holy One of Israel, and I went to Proverbs 3, and I think verse 4, and it comes to where he that ascends and descends. And then I'm looking like, hold on. That was said in the New Testament also about the one that ascends and descends. Then the demons called him the Holy One of who? Of Israel. So when we go to the Old Testament and we look at the Holy One of Israel, that's that spirit that's walking inside of Yeshua. That's why it is God that's walking amongst us, because it's the Holy One of Israel that's there. And with that, I'll go ahead and yield to you.
Right on, right on. And yeah, as I can, we see it differently. There's obviously there's Christians that agree with you for sure. Most Christians would agree with you. They believe the virgin birth to be true. They believe that Isaiah 7:14 is speaking about a future prophecy. And you got Hebrew Israelites that agree with you as well. You got Hebrew Israelites. As a matter of fact, you have a lot of Hebrew Israelites that believe this is dual prophecy, as mentioned in the chat by our good brother Double T the Hebrew. He mentions that Isaiah 7:14, that some Hebrews refer to Isaiah 7:14 as dual prophecy. What I'm saying is I don't agree with that. I gotta say shalom, shalom to Clear Waters. Shalom to you. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, I mean, I gave out my information. I fact checked the article. I didn't just strictly read it and just took his word for it. You saw me adjust the article. I made corrections to the article, and I thought that the article did a great job in breaking down the Hebrew. It used linguistics as a methodology. It used context as a methodology, and it used history as a methodology, and it also used common sense as a methodology, and it also used cross references as a methodology. So like that's where I arrived to my conclusion that the whole point of Isaiah 7:14 is not a future virgin birth. It's a birth of a child that'll be born quickly. And during this time, during this time, that the alliance between King Rezin of Syria and King Pekah of Israel, that they will fall by King of Assyria. That's the whole point of it. The sign is that those events that happen. So to say definitively this is speaking about a virgin birth, that can't definitively be proven, because they would have used the word betula to definitively prove that this child is speaking about a virgin birth. That this verse is speaking about a virgin birth. It would use definitive words like betula. Isaiah would have chose to use betula. We wouldn't have to sit here and guess. The Most High is not an author of confusion. So why are we confused over this? I think we're confused over this because we want to hold on to the New Testament to be 100% infallible and accurate. And through my research, it's not. The New Testament has mistakes. So does the Old Testament. The Old Testament has mistakes too. But the New Testament, there's a lot of tampering you will find. And I believe that when it comes to the birth of the Messiah, of Yeshua Bar Yosef, there's some tampering, there's some differences. Matthew and Luke don't agree. And also we'll say that you mentioned earlier where it says, you talk about David, where it says, the Lord said to my Lord, sit at my footstool. That's incorrect. That verse, that psalm was attributed to King David. King David he's not speaking to Yahusha. I did a whole live stream on that. I'm gonna go ahead and use this time to plug that video for those who are interested and why I'm saying this in the first place, because you got a lot of Hebrew Israelites that believe this is speaking about King David speaking to Yahusha, or the Lord says my Lord, and that's just not true. That's in Psalm 110:1 right here, family, on screen. Check out what this really means. Check out what Psalm 110 verse 1 really means. The Lord said to my Lord, prove Jesus is God? Question mark. Open panel discussion. I know the New Testament may interpret it differently, but what I'm saying is when you look into the original Hebrew, when you look into the language of our ancestors, when you look into Psalm 110 verse 1, the Lord said to my Lord, this is not speaking about David speaking to Jesus. This is not what we think it means. It's not the Christian interpretation. The Christians got it wrong. So I know a lot of Brews are holding on to that, though. They want to prove that Black Jesus is God. But I believe that Yahusha is a righteous man. There's a lot of writings about him. I do believe he existed. I believe he was a revolutionary of his time, but he's not God. I'm not going to worship him. And according to my research, he wasn't born of a virgin birth. He was born of a natural birth. I'll go ahead and land there.
Yes, sir, brother. I think one of the things that we kind of see differently is as to who Yeshua is. And that right there is something that no man can tell you. Because he even tells you that only my Father, which is in heaven, can reveal the Son to you, whom he chooses to reveal himself to. That's why he told Peter, he said, Peter, flesh and blood didn't tell you this, but my Father, which is in heaven, has told you this. When people look at the Messiah, they look at the flesh. But the question that I have to always ask people is one thing. Who's the spirit inside of that flesh? Because it was said that he who worships our God worships him in spirit and in truth. It was also said that his son is the son of the living God. So that means that spirit that was inside of him was that son of the living God. Who is that spirit? That's the question. We argue about Jesus and we argue about Yeshua. We argue about Yahweh, but who is the spirit that is our redeemer, that is our deliverer, that is supposed to be dwelling in the midst of the people? Who is that spirit? Because a lot of times the only thing I hear is Jesus. And then we argue about the virgin birth and the flesh. but he said that he wasn't the son of a man. He was the son of man, but he wasn't the son of a man. And with that, I'll go ahead and yield.
Yeah, I would agree. We see, I agree. We agree on that as I can. I think we just we view Yeshua differently. We have different viewpoints. And a lot of brews actually would agree with you. I believe that Ruach, that spirit, was the same spirit that was on Yeshayahu. It's that same spirit that I say sometimes we're filled with. And I say sometimes because look around our community, we're not filled with the Ruach. But that same spirit that was on Isaiah, same spirit that was on Yeshua. These are two men that the Most High sent his spirit upon them. So that's just my research on that. They're both were filled by the Ruach, which is feminine, by the way. The Ruach, the spirit, she is feminine. Before she was masculine, she was feminine. Once again, I rely on the Old Testament. Then I work my way up to the New Testament. And through the New Testament, I see what's true, what's not true. Sometimes I see some false things. Sometimes I see some true things. But yes, this definitely could be like a spiritual decision or undertaking. We have to decide, to believe, who is Yahusha, or who is the son, who is God's son. And to me, we're God's son. I'm speaking to God's son right now. You're God's son. I'm God's son. Collectively is Yisrael. We are the son of God. Also, I know that term is used for kings, and I do believe that there is a future king to come. However, this king right here is not to be worshipped. This king is not God, but this king is will come in the future. So that's why I agree with Judaism. I do believe, because a lot of them they're actually waiting for the Messiah, but they don't believe that Yahusha fulfilled everything. And I agree with Judaism on that matter, that Yeshua did not fulfill everything. He didn't rule politically. He didn't have a kingdom where he ruled politically. He didn't rule with peace. And nations were not subjected to him. They were not under him. So he did not fulfill. And that's why a lot of Christians and Hebrew Israelites are waiting for him to come back again. Because when he comes back again, that's when he's going to crack the sky and take over. But what I'm saying is that when you read the Old Testament prophecies and you compare them to the life of Yeshua, they don't all line up. There's some inconsistencies. And I brought out those inconsistencies. And I know that it's made a lot of Hebrew Israelites uncomfortable. They don't like when I bring it out, but I want us to really, really, really tap into our studies. Go to places that make us nervous, that make us uncomfortable, that make us shake, that make us like, man, I don't even know if I want to go down this. But actually, that's where the strength is at. The strength is looking into the research and actually drawing a conclusion, but doing it with humility and submission to the Most High. So yeah, I agree with you. We view Yeshua differently. To me, that's big bro. That's big homie. But he's not the Most High God. To me, that's a violation of the second commandment. Clearly, nobody is to be coupled with the Most High. No man, no woman. And that's where I stand there. But I do believe that this messianic figure will come. And, the Son of God is a title for a king. It's a title. It's an ancient Near Eastern title for a king. And collectively, we as the children of Israel, we're the Son of God. So I'll go ahead and land there. I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up. We'll go ahead and wrap up. But yeah, anything else on your mind, Elder Byron, that you'd like to bring forth?
Yes, sir. Well, I do agree with you when you say that, yes, he is the Son of God. He is not the Most High God. That I agree with you on that. I do agree with you that everything that was spoken in the Old Testament has not been fulfilled, and he didn't fulfill everything that was spoken in the Old Testament because he did not come through the loins of David. He did not come through the seed of a man. And our king, like you just said, has not yet come. Not our physical king has not yet come, because he's here and we're not seeking him, because he's supposed to come through the loins of David. But the problem with Israel, we don't forgot whose we are. When I say that, And this gonna go ahead and mean this is gonna be for another discussion possibly. The soul or the seed that you come from, where did that root originate? And who was that root that seed came from? Because remember, we were plucked up out of our land. So that means our root was taken out of the land and replanted into another land. So who was that root that we were before we were plucked up and planted into this land into captivity? Because that is that seed of David. That is that seed of Isaiah. That is that seed of Zerubbabel. That is that seed of Jehozadak. That is the seed of all those that the Father said is going to come back, because they are coming back as the remnant of them that have been planted in another land. And in order for us to be that fruitful field, we need to remember who we are, whose seed we are, who's the root we come from. Because if we don't know the root we come from, then we'll always be this branch that will be broken off and in the fire, not grafted to nothing but out of darkness. So I agree with you that our Savior, Yeshua, he is the Son of God. He's that Redeemer that God said he was going to send to dwell and come and walk amongst us. Zechariah 2, the one that Moses asked the Lord to send if he could come and dwell amongst the people. But he said if he come and dwell amongst the people, he'll kill all of them because their heart wasn't right. That was the one with Isaiah saw, whose train was long and lifted up, the Holy One of Israel. That's that spirit. That's why he said, I am. I was there, and I spoke with Moses. We know that the flesh didn't speak with Moses because Yeshua was born of a virgin. Well, was born of Mary. He was born of a woman. So who spoke to Moses? It had to be the spirit that was inside of him. But we never look at the spirit because we're too busy arguing about the flesh. And with that, I'll go ahead and close. And I want to say, Jaden, we don't agree, but I do enjoy our conversations. And I enjoy the part that you can go ahead and chew me out and still come back and crack a joke. So with that, understand, one day I might have to chew you out. And if I come back and crack a joke, don't get mad. There's an old saying where I'm from. If you can go ahead and throw it, make sure you can also receive it. So when I give a joke, I hope you take it in love.
Well, you
And with
popped
that,
some
I'll
before
yield.
at me. Yeah, you popped some at me before, and I laughed them off. Yeah.
You're not supposed to know that.
Oh, I know. I can tell just by context, timing. I know. But yes, as I can. Yes, we just see it differently there. But like to me, like there's multiple saviors. Like, and this person, Sarah, this person, this confused person in the chat, that comment, I'm not even going to respond to it. I'm just going to mention part of their name. They're obviously confused. They don't have an argument. They're just making a statement. They mad, they in their feelings. But I will warn you, Sarah, if you come disrespectful, I will block your ass. And that goes for any bummer cloud in the chat, because we're about peace, love, and unity here. Don't cross us. Don't take our kindness for weakness. But Elder Byron, I got nothing but love for you, nothing but respect for you. And this topic right here, it was touchy because you do have a lot of people that agree with you. You got people that agree with me. But I will say that technically, our Savior is the Most High Yah, and only Yah alone. Yah will send humans to be our saviors. Yahusha, you can view as a savior. Also, Queen Esther, you can view as a savior. Both are saviors. And it says in Obadiah that saviors, he will send saviors. So I look at multiple messiahs. There's not one messiah. There's not one savior. There's multiple messiahs. There's multiple kings. There's multiple saviors. Ultimately, above all of that, there's only one savior. There's only one redeemer, and that is Yehovah, Yod-Heh, Waw-Heh. and only Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh alone. Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh is not a man. He's not a woman. He's not a man that he should lie. We refer to Yahweh as breasts, as the power of breasts, as El Shaddai. However, we're looking at this figuratively, spiritually, figuratively. The Most High is our breasts, but not figurative, not literally. That's a lot of people with a lot of bruise. They can't handle that because they're misogynists. They worship a man. They're actually guilty of phallic worship. If you don't know what that word phallic is, family, look that up. They are guilty of phallic worship. A lot of them are Egyptians. They don't even know it. A lot of them are in Egyptology. They worship a phallic. They worship that statue you see on Washington, D.C. They worship a man. But it says God is not a man that he should lie. But we understand that where it says God is a man of war, that's poetry. It's a song. It's a song of Moses. We sing that song all the time. The Ashkenazi Jews, they sing that prayer, that song all the time. I want to say like every day. Correct me if I'm wrong. And also, I mentioned that you said the word Jehovah, which is interesting because that is the Yiddish. That is the modern. That is the modern Hebrew pronunciation for the Most High Yah. I just find it interesting that the same group of people that you call the synagogue of Satan, you're actually saying the name of the Creator the way that they're saying it. When technically, if you want to say it the black way, the African way, the Afro-Asiatic way, you would say Yehovah or Yahuwah or Yahweh, not Jehovah. But I just wanted to go ahead and add that. That was just beside the point. But to the root, we have to get to that at another time. But yeah, so that's my spiel. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you have the last word, Elder Byron, because you are the elder, and I don't want to make it seem like I was attacking you or chewing you out. But I'll let you go ahead and have the last comeback, and I won't even respond back to you. So go ahead, and if you like to go ahead and close out, if you want to go ahead and give some more edification, here's the opportunity right now.
No, Brother Jay, I did not take what you said as you chewing me out. Not at all. And the way you pronounce the names and everything like that, to me, it goes still back to the spirit. He says, my people that are called by his name. If we are called by his name, that means we are called by his spirit. So who is that spirit that is calling us? Because doesn't his land possess the same name as the spirit? Doesn't the people possess the same name as the spirit? The name of the land is Israel. The name of the people is Israel, and he has always been called the God of Israel and the Holy One of Israel. So I think that was yesterday when you went to Exodus chapter 3, when you were showing your chain, and you said the tetradecagram, but there's something in there that we don't really realize as Israel. He says, I don't want to misquote it. So let me go ahead and see exactly how it said in Exodus chapter 3.
I put it on screen. It's part of the closing. So I got you. Exodus 3. If you want to read it on screen, you can as I can. Let me go ahead and turn. Are you looking for verse 15?
Yes, sir. Well, actually, you can go to verse 14.
Okay, if you want, I can go ahead and read it if you like.
Go ahead.
Hallelujah. The word of Yah says, and God said unto Moshe, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am, hath sent me unto you. And God said moreover unto Moshe, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yehovah, God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, hath sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations.
All right. When we stop right there, when you say the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, there's no discussion, no argument, nothing as to who you are talking about. And over the generations and over the time, man has given us all these names to replace the God of Abraham, to replace the God of Isaac, to replace the God of Jacob. Even when the old pastors used to preach, before they started going to the seminaries, as hard as they go to them now, the old deacons, they used to preach and pray to the God of Abraham, to the God of Isaac, to the God of Israel, to that great I am that provides all my needs and everything. If that is how we are supposed to remember him throughout all generations, then why don't we? Because when you say that, to me, you talking about that God that delivered Abraham out of the land of the Chaldeans. You're talking about that God that delivered Isaac out of all his troubles and his afflictions. You talking about that God that made that promise to Jacob, that named him Israel, that we are a part of that promise. That's that God, when you say that, that I'm thinking about. And when you say some of those other names, they sound foreign to me, because who are those names? Who is that spirit that is behind those names? That is why I keep it simple. And he says that in his word. He says, I haven't made it hard for you. I've made it very simple. I am the God of your forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. I am the God of Israel. Know me and follow no other. And with that, I'll go ahead and close. The only thing that I pray for Israel is that they know their God for themselves. Stop taking everybody else's word. Stop looking at the God of Israel through someone else's eyes. Even Samuel, when he first heard the God of Israel calling him, he was looking at him through the eyes of Eli, because every time he called, he ran to Eli, because that's the only one that he had heard ministering to him about the God of Israel. So when the God of Israel came to him, Eli even had to tell him, hold on. When he comes back to you, say, here I am, Lord, speak to me, for your servant is listening. The question is, who are we listening to today? So much so, until if Eli was his teacher and Eli was hearing from God, why did Eli have to come to Samuel and say, Samuel, what did he tell you? And don't hold nothing back from me. Because Samuel had an ear that was attentive to the spirit of the Holy One of Israel. His ear was there for him because he drowned out everyone else's voice, and he tuned in to the voice of him who was calling his name. We all coming out of this darkness because we're being called. But we got to tune out everyone else so we can hear that quiet whisper that's not the shaking of everything else around us. All these camps, all these religions, these are the shakings that keep us confused. When he tells us to come out, that's what he's telling us to come out. Come out from these spirits that you have placed over you, who you have put your faith and your trust in. And return to the Holy One of Israel, to the God of your forefathers. Hear his voice. Hear his words. Understand his spirit. For through his spirit is wisdom, understanding, knowledge, might, counsel, the fear of the Lord, and loving kindness. And you gonna need every last one of them in this time that's coming. Silver and gold, you can't present to a storm. Silver and gold, you can't present to an earthquake. But his word, when you walk outside in the midst of that storm, in the midst of that earthquake, and you say, peace be still, because those words are coming from your spirit that has been covered with the spirit of the God of Israel. So the world has to obey your voice. It has to, because through obeying your voice, they're obeying the voice of our God. Like you said, we are the sons of the Most High God, but we can't be his son and be dirty at the same time. And with that, I'll close.
All glory, all praises, all kavod to Yah. I'd like to thank everybody in the chat and everybody listening online. And I'd like to thank Zakane, Elder, Byron, Willer. Thank you for joining the panel tonight. I love you, Zakane.
Love you too, brother.
All glory, all praises, thanks, all praises to our great King. I'm Jaden Israel. Until next time, shalom, fam.